those guys are a big part of the defense, and every little piece matters when you're on defense. But that's a big part of it, and they have a big challenge this week, and good to see Davison get his hands on one last week. That was big, and Denzel got one the week before. So we got to have a great Tuesday practice right here, and know that they're going to look to really challenge our guys on the outside.
Davison specifically, how have you seen him grow? And you mentioned the interception. What is that going to do for? He's very confident, but it makes a difference when you get your hands on the ball.
I think sometimes when you come into a season, you no matter what, you can say don't have expectations, but you do. And when you get that pick like that, it kind of allows you to maybe relax a little bit and not press. So he can just play his game now because he's doing great.
Bill Landis, Kings of the North, and the podcast.
Ryan, what do you see from Oregon's defensive front on film? They just seem like they're maybe the most athletic group you guys have seen so far this year.
Yeah, for sure. Very, very good front. Birch is, very, very good. He's very athletic, strong, good pass rusher, good against the run. Harmon, we know, he's from Michigan State. He's playing very, very good football. I mean, they have some good guys up front, so it's going to be a great challenge for our offensive line and for everybody. I think each week, again, it's ramped up, so that's been good. But we're looking forward to the challenge.
Your offensive line, I think most coaches would probably just want to see week-to-week incremental improvement. It seems like you're getting that. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but just how do you feel like how that group's progressed through these first 5 games?
I think there's been improvement, but we're nowhere near where we need to be, or in a situation where we're evaluating their progress, other than the fact that I think they are getting better every week. And again, it goes back to practice. It goes back to the work they put in the preparation, and it's week to week. You can look great one week, but not on the next week. And I think that's the thing to me that we talked to our team about now, and G. Scott spoke to our team recently about it. I think it's exactly right. Like, every day can look the same, but then when you look back on it, it's not even close to being the same. And so that's what we have to do. We've got to make sure that we're getting better every day, because you're either getting better or you're getting worse. And I think with the offensive line, that's important this week, is that we continue to get better. And the only way to do that is to have a great Tuesday. And so we'll get in here at 2:30, start with the team meeting, and going from there.
Tony Girdman, Buckeye Huddle.
Ryan, what's the conversation, the communication with you and Chip to Jim Knowles on what you're seeing with the defense, how you would attack it, where you might be seeing some areas of concern this week?
Yeah, we have staff meetings, and we'll go through different things. We try not to get too much into that, but every once in a while we'll get somebody's opinion from the other side of the ball. So every once in a while I'll go down with the scouts and give them what I think are some different things that they need to prepare for. But at the end of the day, Jim's the head coach of the defense, and he's going to run the defense, but it's been good to get feedback from both sides of the ball in those staff meetings. But yeah, it's usually just kind of 30,000-foot view, kind of conversations.
Stephen Means, Cleveland.com.
Obviously, it's a big game for Will, and he's not new to this. He's played in some big games before, but maybe this is a weird way to ask this, but just what lets you know that he's maybe ready for this moment?
Well, he came here for a reason. He came here to play in games like this, and he's played in games like this, but he's excited to do that, and his preparation's going to be the same. We always say that it's about us. Now, that being said, we got to be experts at our opponent and know our opponent cold, but it doesn't change our preparation. If our preparation has been to our standard up to this point, we just need to continue to do what we've been doing. So he's been looking forward to this game. Obviously, we all have been. So when the schedule came out, and so he's going to have a great week of preparation. But there's a reason you come to Ohio State, and there's a reason he came, and for games like this.
Did you evaluate Dylan at all when you guys were searching around in the portal? What do you think of him as a football player, Dylan Gabriel?
I think he's a very good player. I think he's played a lot of football. He's experienced. He gets the ball out of his hand quickly. He's accurate. Very accomplished. He's his production speaks for itself, and his numbers overall, his body of work, and I think he's playing very well.
Spencer Holbrook, Letterman Row.
Ryan, Taylor played, I think, all but 3 or 4 snaps there at right guard. Did he do something in practice that made you guys think that he should be there for the full Iowa game? And then do you think that's something that you guys are going to keep doing moving forward?
Probably, but we'll see again. We'll keep evaluating on a week-to-week basis, but he is getting better. And we felt like he could handle those guys inside and gave us the best chance in that moment to win the game. So we'll kind of, again, evaluate it this week. But if he continues to improve and continues to do what he's doing, then it'll look the same.
Jeff Gilbert, Press Pros.
Ryan, you could have drawn any of these 4 teams out west this year. You got Oregon. It turns out this is a really big game this part of the year. What's that mean for your team, for the league, and all that kind of stuff?
Well, I think it's great because you get to control your own destiny because you're playing, the best teams in the league on our schedule, and so that part's great. Every time you're playing one of these teams, you're fighting for an opportunity to go to Indianapolis, and that's important. So there's that part of it. Then there's obviously the playoff scenario. So a lot at stake this weekend, which is exactly the way we want it.
Joey Kaufman, Columbus Dispatch.
Ryan, both of these quarterbacks, Dylan and Will, are super seniors using that extra year of eligibility. Wondering with Will, where does that extra year show up at all when you watch him and evaluate him? Just what's the value of that extra experience?
It's probably in the preparation and then in game, having experience and not departing your preparation and what you've done to that point. Because I think it's easy when you're a young player, once you get into a game and you get into a high pressure situation, to all of a sudden abandon all your technique. You see that a lot with young players and sometimes young quarterbacks. And so both of those guys have played a lot of football and have the ability to identify what they saw on the sideline, communicate it, and then continue to make adjustments as the game goes on.
Was that something when you were evaluating your options at that position this offseason? Was that a trade or a value that something you saw?
Other than the fact that they had a bunch of snaps under their belt, I mean, it's kind of hard to evaluate something like that. So you're actually in it with them, but both very, very intelligent. And the people, really what you do in that moment is you call people that worked with them. With Seth, Bill O'Brien had worked with them, and you call around and you ask people, hey, tell me about this player. What was that like? People who were in the building. Sam Petito was at Alabama. So you just kind of ask around because there's only so much you can tell off of film and meeting with somebody. But both were very mature, and then played a lot of football and came very highly recommended.
Cameron Teague Robinson, The Athletic.
Ryan, kind of off that, when you are evaluating Will, and when you get in the transfer portal, you see the big games, the Big 12 title game, the game against Texas last year. Is there anything you can see on film? Obviously, like you said, you need him in-house to see him firsthand, but anything you see on film that stands out just with him in big games that you think contributes that he...
Well, I think a big part is his legs, and having the ability to make a difference with his legs. And, you'll always, when you're starting, at the end of a season, you start backwards and kind of try to almost reverse engineer the whole roster. And it starts with that, is that, the ability to, use your legs is really, really important, because that becomes the X factor. And he can do that. And so it kind of goes from there. And we kind of made that decision, and felt like that was important for us. And so then it kind of, went from there. And, all the other things are, for him, his size and his intelligence and his ability to throw the ball and, throw accurately in the red zone, and third down. Those are all really big traits that you need in big games. So I think, we're all still learning about Will because he's only been here for, 6 months or whatever it's been. But we're learning quickly as these games are coming and going.
Dylan Davis, Delaware Gazette.
Right, you have a veteran team this year. Does that change anything about the way you approach games like this, the way you prepare this week, the way you talk about it? Does that change at all based on the kind of team you have, or is it just business as usual?
I mean, I think you always, try to make sure you identify the things that, fit the team that you have, for sure. But there's a lot of things that are consistent with every week. All of a sudden you don't just change because, it's a quote unquote big game. They're all big. But you want to make sure that you're also, like you said, tailoring it to the guys that you have. And so, we're going to, if we say it's about us all the time, then it's about us in the games like this, which it is. So we're going to continue with the same routine. Our guys like that routine. And it's our job as coaches to make sure we give them a clean plan that they can go play. They shouldn't be thinking on Saturday night.
Adam King, WBNS 10 TV.
Obviously, a couple Oregon ties on the staff. Chip coached there, but he also coached against them at UCLA, and then with Coach Laughlin. Have you leaned on them at all? Have you learned anything from them about the Ducks, and how much have they helped you guys get ready for this?
Yeah, they have good information, and when you're somewhere, you have a feel for the place, and so good information there. But ultimately, it's going to come down to the players on the field, and who's going to run the football and stop the run and take care of the ball.
Steve Hellwagen, 24/7 Sports.
Yeah, Coach, look at their Boise game. I think they had a kick return and a punt return for touchdowns.
They did,
Just
yeah.
how critical, as closely matched as your two teams are, that one play in special teams could really decide this. And you guys haven't had to cover a lot of kicks and punts, but maybe this week.
Yeah, every play is going to matter in a game like this, and both returners are dynamic, and I think that's the thing we talk about all the time is the issues are always there, and it can come down to one play, and say that week in and week out here on Sunday meetings, and now it's for real. So, and you never know when that one play is going to come, but you're right. Every play is going to matter. Every inch is going to matter, in all three phases.
Front row left, Jake Trotter, ESPN.
Yeah, Ryan, your shared experiences with Chip, growing up same hometown, same high school, same college, and then your history together. How has that impacted, the way you work together, relate together, and then trust one another?
Yeah, I think that's probably the biggest word is trust. Is that when you have trust, you get through a lot of, wasted time, because you can be direct with somebody and know that you care about them, and no matter what is said, you can kind of put your arm around each other afterwards. I say that a lot because that's it. I think the other thing is having familiarity of just how each other think. You can get through a lot of conversation, revisiting some things you've done in the past. Things that have worked, things that haven't worked, things that you've tried together before, philosophically, all those things I think allow us to work efficiently.
How has he impacted you and your coaching career? You haven't been together all the time, but obviously we're together at UNH.
Yeah, probably the biggest influence in my life in football, just from when it started. In my hometown of Manchester, he kind of was the first one to kind of really get into college coaching, and then recruited me to go to the University of New Hampshire. I kind of shared with him then that I wanted to be a coach, and then he kind of took me under his wing, and then I coached for him, and he helped me get some of the jobs that I got along the way. And I ended up going to Florida because of Dan Mullen, who's a Manchester guy, and then worked with Urban, and then that kind of played out from there. So it kind of gave me my start, and then I worked with him in the NFL for 2 years. So I've been very fortunate to be around great coaches and great mentors, and he was obviously a big part of it.
Joe Nugent, WCMA.
With the Ducks leading the country in completion percentage, what makes them so dangerous in that area?
Well, they get the ball out quick, and Gabriel's very accurate, and they have really good playmakers out in space, and they make you defend the field, from sideline to sideline, and then they take their shots. So they play very, very fast, and so you got to be on your game. And he's a great operator, and he's very talented.
Third row right, Stefan Krajisnik, Cleveland.com.
Following up on Chip there a little bit, you're still pretty young in your coaching career when he got going at Oregon. How much did you kind of watch those games and try to take things from his offense? Because they put up really impressive numbers while he was there.
Yeah, it was a different place. Boston College, just a different grouping of people, and we had Matt Ryan at the time, and it was pretty unique. I think we were top 3 and 4 in the country at Boston College at the time, and so was he. And so that 07-08 year, runs, both very different offenses, but certainly watched it all just like everybody else did. He was kind of revolutionizing, football at the time.
Don Taveri, WBNS 10 TV.
Coach, I'm sure didn't feel comfortable Saturday with some of the adversity you faced, but looking back now, are you happy your team faced that adversity and the way they handled it?
Yeah, if we're going to turn the ball over, then you're going to be in a game like that at halftime, and so you're either remembering or you're learning, and we better learn from that. So that was important. But I felt like going into halftime, we had moved the ball well. I think we had just about 200 yards of offense, and we had played very good defense, so we were good that way. But when you turn the ball over and don't convert on a 4th down, there's 3 drives right there, and you're not going to get many at bats, against an Iowa team. So yeah, you got to learn from that experience. We talked about that on Sunday, but great to see us come out and play that way in the second half, which is encouraging coming out at halftime. There was a lot of, like you said, a lot of positivity, knowing that we could play that way in the second half, despite only being up 7-0.
Feel like they're battle tested now? I mean, going into this thing?
Well, we do have a bunch of guys who have played a bunch of football, so that is good, and we know what the challenge was there. But this is a different challenge on the road against a great opponent, and so we're going to go swing as hard as we can, and excited about this. So everybody is, and so fired up to get him back in here in a couple hours.
Bill Rabinowitz, Columbus Dispatch.
3 years ago when you played them, it was obviously kind of a rude awakening for your defense. You made changes after that. All that process ended up with getting Jim Knowles. When you look back at that game, how much of a foundation-changing game did that turn out to be?
It was CJ's really second start maybe, and boy, he played his tail off that game, and we just didn't play very good on defense and didn't run the ball and convert on 4th downs, and so that's how you lose games, and so we had to do a better job running the ball and playing defense, and like you said, coming out of games like that, you learn a lot about yourself, and I knew we had something special coming out of that game with CJ. I could see it, and. But I knew there were other areas that needed to get fixed, and we worked hard to try to get them addressed.
How different, I mean, it's an obvious question, but how different is this defense now compared to that one?
Yeah, I would say it's very different. Different scheme, different players. Yeah.
Andy Backstrom, Letterman Row.
Yeah, Ryan, Oregon's generated more pressure than any opponent you faced so far this season. Just what's kind of, from the small sample size in game, what's your sense of Will under pressure so far this season? I'm sure you see it a lot in practice too. Where does he need to be better in that area?
I mean, it's just everything gets ramped up, and we got to make sure that we're doing a great job in protection, knowing that we have a really good front we're going against, and that we're doing a great job of getting open. They're gonna challenge us in coverage, and we gotta create separation, and so everything's a part of that, and the quarterback's a big part of it as well, for sure. The ball's got to come out on time, but it's not easy, but it's as simple as having really good protection, spacing it out and getting out on time against zone, and winning against man-to-man.
Kind of going off that, with the experience your offensive line has now with the silent count, playing 6 road games last year, how much does that factor into a game like this?
Yeah, it's important to handle the environment, and that's a big part of it. Anytime you go on the road, you got to handle that, and we faced it a little bit at Michigan State, and so we're working on it hard, and we'll work on it hard again this week.
Austin Ward, the podcast.
Ryan, what did you think of Tyleek and his return?
Solid, just getting his hands on people, knocking people back. I thought he and Ty were really good in the game, and along with a few other guys too, but yeah, it was good to get him back inside, and obviously you could feel his presence in there.
I know that you don't want to ask him or anybody to play every snap. When you go to the Rushman package and Larry's thinking about that, from the outside it looks like he's so dynamic and can collapse the pocket that maybe Tyleek could stay in there for that. Are there discussions about leaving him in some of those situations?
Yeah, there are. Yeah, it kind of almost becomes a snap count issue, you know what I mean? But yeah, I mean he can rush the passer with as good as anybody in the country on the inside.
Tim May, Letterman Row.
Thanks, Jerry. Just a housekeeping question real quick. Did Chip ever try to hire you before y'all hooked up with the Eagles?
Yeah, for sure. We had talked about different opportunities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember? I mean, did he try to get you to go to Oregon?
Yeah, we definitely had conversations back then. It wasn't a great time for me, but yeah. Yeah, I just had RJ, and it was early in my career. I didn't want to move across the country, but yeah, we had discussions along the way.
And then after that, you went like that, right?
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah. Has Quinshawn, have you gotten what you thought you'd get out of Quinshawn and Travion to this point, from the standpoint, Travion healthy now, the way he looks? Quinshawn, I just want your reaction to the way he runs. Is he even more violent, more, headstrong, whatever the word is you want to call it, the way he runs? I mean, the power he brings, et cetera. What's been your impression of that group?
Yeah, this is everything you just said. Yeah, everything you just said. And I think the only way that you can do that is when you have two guys who are team players, who understand, what it means to win as a team. And so we're going to need them both this weekend, and they're both running really hard. And yeah, it's been fun to watch both of those guys improve this year. I think Travion's running really well. I think Quinshawn is exactly what you just said. He runs really hard and violent. And, he wants the ball, and so does Trey. But but they've been great, and we're going to need them this week. Got to take care of the football and run downhill.
Do you feel like I've done a good job of not having one package for one and one for the other? You understand what I'm saying? Or
Yeah.
Is it,
Yeah, we did.
I'm talking about not doing. You know what I'm talking. Chip, I asked Chip about that a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, they both can do. They both can. They're 3 down backs, so they can protect. They can run routes, and they can run. All the different schemes that we run. Yeah.
Andy Andrews, 11 Warriors.
Yeah, you touched on it some already, but just the challenge this Oregon offense presents when you have 3 receivers the caliber they have and a tight end as good as they have, spacing the field.
Yeah, athletes all over the place, and running backs very good, and so yeah, I mean it's the same thing we're looking for on offense. Is you try to have enough weapons out there that you can't just narrow down on one thing. So. Yeah, I mean, they're going to put you in space and try to spread you out, and so you got to win your one-on-one battles.
Pat Murphy, 24/7 Sports.
Ryan, you were talking about Oregon's offense just now. I think a lot of people still think of it similarly to when Chip was there, but how does Dan Lanning put his impact, especially on the defensive side? What do you see that makes this a Dan Lanning program?
Yeah, I just think over time, it's changed a lot from when Chip was there, and yeah, Dan's got his own style and his own scheme on both sides of the ball, and different coordinators, and but from back when Chip was there, and even before that to where they are now, again, one of the best teams in one of the best programs in the country, and they do a great job, and and they play hard.
Does that defense remind you of the Georgia defense you guys saw a few years ago?
I think there's a lot of differences there. I know that you just kind of watch it and you say, well, it's the same tree and everything, but there's some similarities, but there's a lot of differences there as well, and because you try to do everything you can to fit your scheme to what your players can do well, and it's different players, but a lot there's certainly things in common.
And final questions, Tim Hall, 97.1 The Fan.
Hey, Ryan, I'm wondering, last year was talked about the rules changes with the clocks not stopping after a first down throughout the entirety of the game. This year, the 2-minute warning has had a pretty good impact. I'm just wondering if you like that thing in college football, if that helps you manage your timeouts a little bit differently, especially in the second half.
Yeah, it's different because you do have to manage it different. But, and I think the idea was that, less TV timeouts. I think we were close to either 5 or 6 TV timeouts in the second quarter of the game the other day. So it's just something you got to handle and deal with. And so you got to keep the guys moving, and, that is what it is. In terms of the rule changes with the clock running, I kind of found out today that I think we're averaging 67 plays a game, which is just about 20 some odd plays less than we would have like in 17 or 18. So it is very, very different. That's a lot of football, but that is the game. That's how the game's being played now. So, but again, the game of football hasn't changed. It's just the number of plays and how it's how it's run.
Typically, in a perfect world, do you like to keep all your timeouts in the second half, especially when you're in a huge game like this one coming up?
Well, you want to use them when they both they best maximize your opportunity to win the game. You certainly don't want to use them to for organization or something like that. You want to use them to help you schematically or in terms of you working the clock. So, but there's a lot that comes into that. There's a lot of work we do behind the scenes to make sure we're prepared to do that. And you can see kind of how we did at the end of the first half the other day, and that's all thought out ahead of time to make sure that we're all on the same page on how we're attacking that.
Coach, thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
You've been listening to the Ryan Day Press Conference on The Fan.
Sponsored by The Roofing Guys. For all your roofing, siding, and gutter needs, contact The Roofing Guys at theroofingguys.com.
It's time to add some spice to your nooner. Nooner. Funny. This is the place where big-time guests, bold opinions, and little cute doggies come together. This is Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus, the #1 rated windows and doors in Columbus.
All righty, welcome back in. That is your very typical big game presser for the week. A little bit of the old in and out. Anthony Rothman, Matty Ice Hayes, and CB. Boys, good to see you.
It's good to see you, man. Good to see you.
Tim tried to push that over.
Coach has got things to do.
I set the over-under 12:30. And Tim Hall tried to push that over with a couple questions. He tried to do the reverse point shaving.
Yeah.
In this world, you'd say he was trying to push the clock. He was clock shaving.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make sure I say that very clearly. But it came in very under a 26-36.
He started right on time.
Yeah.
You know, in a week like this, in a game like this, you gotta get everything you can out of your film study, everything you can out of your team. The game's on NBC this weekend.
NBC.
So is that Little Eagle on the call? Is that what we're gonna get for this?
It is. It's Eagle and Todd Blackledge.
Yeah.
And then
Interesting. Okay.
Basketball also has their media day today, I think at 2:30, so they also have to be efficient with that.
Okay. Yeah, no messing around this week. AR, we got things to do, baby. I got to study these ducks. Quack, quack. Let's go.
That's Chip's job. Yeah. I'm
did
just
say-
getting the real feel of my team.
I thought it was a good question by our guy Adam King. AK asked about, Chip Kelly, Coach Lachlan, those guys. Have they hit you with any, intel on what's going on with Oregon? And he dropped the line, they've given him, quote, good information. I don't know what good information means, but I do think, especially Coach Lachlan, since he was just there last year. Their team isn't the same, new quarterback and all that, but I'm sure he is familiar with some of the guys that they're going to be going up against. So I would not be surprised at all, AR, if behind the scenes, Coach Lachlan is playing maybe not a huge role, but definitely a helpful hand this week.
Maddie, how would it have been received if I was there and I did the follow-up and I said, that info you're talking about, Connor Stallions-esque or something?
I don't think he would have appreciated that question.
You don't
I would
think he
have loved
would
to
have
hear his
laughed?
response. You may have gotten a little smirk out of him.
Oh, I absolutely
Yeah,
think.
a little smirk out of him.
Yeah. I think that's where I would have wanted to go with that.
I
That
would have loved to hear
information
that.
you're talking about, to what level would you specify
You're taking
that?
a page out of the old Wolverine book, Coach, huh?
Here's the deal. I do feel like Ryan Day is leaning into this team. And what I mean by that is normally a big game, 2 versus 3 on the road, you would stick to the Play-Doh factory. Just keep churning out it's all about us. He did do a lot of that preparation, all that. It's all about preparation. But when he dropped this one's been circled for us for a while.
Okay.
And when he started to lean into this is what Will Howard came here for. I do believe now he balanced that with he's played in big games too, don't get me wrong, but this is what he came to Ohio State for.
Yeah.
To play in 2 versus 3 on the road. And I do think that is a massive part of this game. I do. I know this defense can force Dylan Gabriel into doing what he did against Michigan State, which is make mistakes in the red zone. Because when I watched Michigan State pick off that ball on the far pylon to the right for a righty, they had the closing speed that the other teams did not have, and Ohio State is going to have times 2. And so I do think that there could be a case of that this defense, again, keeps the score to a point where Will doesn't have to be Superman. But you and I and everybody else has been waiting for that moment for this guy to turn into some wheels and go. And he's done it. He's done it in little bits so far this season. I think Saturday night, you empty the drawer. You basically say whatever it takes to win the game. Because the other thing Ryan Day talked about was controlling your own destiny. And there's so much at stake this weekend. And that's the way we wanted it. Before this game, it was long season, build the depth.
Yeah.
It's a marathon, not a sprint. Today, he made sure he leaned into what it was and what it is.
I want to go back to what you mentioned about what he said about them having this game circled and this meaning a lot to Will. Because for Will individually, this obviously is a chance for you to showcase to the NFL, I can hang with the big dogs and possibly be the best quarterback on the field. Dylan Gabriel's a dude, got a lot of respect for what he's done and probably will continue to do. But for Will, this has to be a little personal, right? Because this is one of those moments where you realize, hey, when I'm going to become a Buckeye and when I did become a Buckeye, this is a showcase game for me. And zooming out from that and talking about for the team, this team had to sit back all off season and hear about this new team coming into their conference and possibly being on the same level as them. And we're going to find out on Saturday. But I do think that could be a motivator, and maybe has been a motivator all year for Ohio State is, oh, you think this Oregon team with Dan Lanning and Dylan Gabriel just going to come into the Big Ten and possibly dethrone us. No, that can create a bit of a chip on their shoulder. So I love that they're leaning into that. They've been leaning into expectations all off season. That has been something that I've really respected, right? Because they've heard the noise and they've realized, yes, we're very good, but we got to respect the process, be where our feet are, and put in the work. And to this point, they absolutely have done that. So there's a ton of fun matchups all over the place with the two veteran quarterbacks here. You got two of the up-and-coming coaches around the sport, and Dan Lanning and Coach Day going at it. That head-to-head matchup is going to be awesome. But just down there on the field, this cornerback room has had to hear a lot about Tez Johnson and Stewart and Dylan Gabriel, and I know those guys cannot wait to get after it. And I can't wait to see who draws the Tez Johnson assignment, and maybe it is a few guys. And I don't know if it's Burke or IGB or whoever that's going to be, but that's Dylan Gabriel's go-to guy. I mean, Tez Johnson ranks 6th in the country right now in receptions per game. So almost 9 per game are going his way. So that's a guy that they're going to want to feed to get their offense going. But Coach Day talked about it today as well. Dylan Gabriel is not a guy that wants to do a whole bunch of deep drops in the pocket and get the ball deep downfield. They're going to apply pressure on this secondary to make these guys tackle in space. So when that ball comes out quick, if the ball does get to their playmakers, the secondary has to make sure they do a good job of tackling clean, but also the D-line's got to be aware of, hey, the ball is coming out fast, so I got to get my hands up if I know I can't get there. So, yeah, man, this is what we've been waiting on. Respect for Oregon for how they've gotten to this point. But, based off of what Ohio State has done so far, there could be a little of a body shot coming their way maybe early on in the game.
Yeah, and by the other part of it is that Ryan Day was not going to entertain thoughts about jet lag or weird thing going across the country. That was a great stat. Dan brought to the table with the 1 and 8 going 2 time zones. Yeah. But it was no. We're staying on East Coast time. This is like going to Nebraska. I mean, it's like going to Nebraska. You zip in, you zip out.
Yeah, he wasn't having any of that. None of that. Because you know what? And I think that's a great job by Coach Day to get that out there publicly. We're not using that as an excuse. Maybe it is something that in the back of his mind he's a little concerned about. But publicly, you don't want to give that to anybody. You don't want to give it to Oregon. You don't want to give it to your team that is something that we have to worry about mentally is flying across the country and playing a game over there. Like, no, we're good. We can show up and play anywhere, and we're going to be just fine.
Now, it would have been a massive flex, and I was like kind of mouthing it during the press conference to you when Dan asked that question about, hey, Big Ten teams are 1 and 8 going 2 time zones. I want him to say, they're not us.
Yeah.
They're not us.
Yeah, and start playing.
Let the unacceptable candidates worry about that, because after tonight, there you are, Kent. They do not have to worry about that. And the other part is, like you said, now, it would have been, I think he followed it up even, it would have been interesting if, well, it sounds like they're doing nothing about it. They're not worrying about body clocks. He goes, it fits our practice schedule. Everything fits fine. You're right. Unless behind the scenes, that's what he wanted publicly, but behind the scenes he's like, okay, we're going to make little adjustments here and there when we work our guys or when we want them to handle certain things. But yeah, this is the kind of game, and the reason I keep coming back to Will Howard, I know you and I will do this all week, and I think the question was actually asked of Ryan Day today was, Oregon does get after the passer. As much as I want to look at their schedule and say, wow, you barely beat Idaho by 10, and you got by Boise by 3, and yeah, you started to put it together the last few games. The one thing they have done is get after the passer. I mean, 20 pressures, 20% pass rush win rate. If we want to find out where this O-line is, because we think they're a lot better, this could be it, where Will Howard doesn't have the time he had before. Oregon's got a first-year defense coordinator. We'll see what nerves he brings to the table, trying to defend this Ohio State offense. But this is the time where we get to learn, I think, even more about Will Howard. Not what kind of quarterback is he, but what kind of quarterback is he under pressure?
Yeah, if we're talking about, this is a 3-point game, right? Yeah. With 4 minutes to go, and maybe Oregon's up by 3. What does Will Howard look like in that situation?
Moment.
That's what I'm saying. That could be in play this week, right? It could be in play. And so you mentioned, Oregon's D-line. I think the run game for Ohio State has a chance to neutralize some of that and keep those guys honest, right? Because Ohio State has shown that, however you want it, you can get it with their offensive playmakers and the ability to get the ball to Jeremiah and Emeka and those other guys quickly and allow those guys to do what they do. You don't have to put a whole bunch of pressure on your O-line to hold up for a long amount of time based off of the dudes that you have. But Travion and Quinshawn, I think, can really squeeze this game potentially and put a lot of pressure on Oregon offensively to maybe play some catch-up with just how good those guys are. Coach Day dropped the quote today, and it was, every play is going to matter in a game like this. And that took my mind to Will Howard, because we are on a 3-game interception streak for him. Now, that hasn't come back to haunt them, but that streak has to end this week, because this could be one of those games to where that comes back to bite Ohio State. And so that's one thing I want to see from him, is just a clean game from start to finish, because you just don't want to mess around and give a team like this more at-bats, because that could be those back-breaking moments within a game to where the talent is going to be as even as it's been all year for Ohio State.
Yes. I also feel like I'm wondering whether Ryan Day and Chip Kelly are going to be very careful this week in making him feel like he has to be perfect. There's a real fine line that they're going to have to walk this week with. Take your chances, trust your guys, obviously make good decisions. I think you can deal with a long interception / punt. You got to take your chances. It's the decision making. It really is, and he's got to have it in line this week, because you're exactly right. It's not an offense you want to hand the ball back to. Yeah. And so I think both teams kind of look at this game very similarly. Both quarterbacks have to be careful with the football. Both defenses have to rise to the occasion. Ohio State has. They've dominated their opponents lately. And then, the big matchup is, can Oregon's defense slow down this Ohio State offense? And then can Ohio State's defense, you and I talked about it earlier in the season, we thought this was going to be, and maybe it still will, their biggest challenge of the year from a defensive standpoint. Like, what other offenses are they facing outside of Penn State that looks
opened it up this year.
Much improved.
They have changed that offensive coordinator, and they look better.
And that one's on the road, like this one.
They're not terrifying to me offensively, but to your point, from where they were last year, there's been more explosive plays for Penn State. There's no denying that. For sure.
So you kind of, we talked about this very interesting stretch. Iowa, their defense, Ohio State handled them in the second half, no problem. Oregon, and they forced turnovers, which is so key. Ohio State's defense being really opportunistic right now. And now this night game on the road at Oregon, a team that a lot of people picked, Herbie, a lot of people picked this team to win it all. They've underwhelmed people to this point. And I remember when they got through those first 2 games, I looked at you and said, well, you can look at this 2 ways. One, they're either overhyped, or this is the best thing that could happen to them, that they got humbled early when national people were picking them to win it all. Yeah. And so now they're not under the radar. They're third in the country. I did ask you before the show, though, where you think this spread will go. Would it go up or down? Your instincts were correct. This has ticked down.
To 3?
3.5.
Okay.
Now, it will not cross over 3. There's no way. There's no way this gets to 2.5. I don't think. I just don't know if it would get to a key. Because then the people that have already bet Ohio State, because now obviously people are putting a little money on Oregon. When Oregon was getting 4, maybe people took it and it's coming down a little bit. If that thing crossed over 3 to 2.5, I think they'd be so exposed on Ohio State they wouldn't want to do it, because if Ohio State's so maybe it just stays right here at 3.5. And the money line came down to 165, which implies about only a couple percent difference from 180, so about 62% win percentage for Ohio State.
Okay.
So that's where it is right now.
We're going to talk a lot about Will and potentially this being the game where he really can raise the ceiling offensively for Ohio State with his legs. 10 carries this past week against Iowa, the most he's had in any game. But you also got to give some respect to Dillon Gabriel and what he can do with his legs. And that's going to be a sneaky thing to watch in this one, because he's third on their team in carries and second on their team in rushing touchdowns. So he's not a guy that's really going to run away from you, but he can do kind of what we saw last night for Pat Mahomes and just be annoying and pick up those third downs to where you got good coverage and your D-line just can't get there quick enough, and he can get around the edge and do that. So Dillon Gabriel has that in his bag as well, and I think that's going to be critical for both offenses which quarterback can pick up those 3 to 4 first downs throughout this game to where maybe the defense wins for the most part, post-snap. But I do think Dillon Gabriel is one of those guys to where he does have good arm talent. He does want to get the ball out quickly and be efficient there. But what he can do with his legs, too, is pretty good. He's just not as explosive as Will. Will's fast. Like, Will can get out in space and I think run away from people. Dillon Gabriel doesn't have that, but it's a weapon that he has as well that you got to respect.
It's going to be a fun wait for Ohio State fan. Fun, frustrating. I think it'll have all the emotion. This week will be a very long week waiting to get to 7:30 on Saturday night. All right, when we come back, we'll shift gears as we usually do on a Tuesday to Fool's Paradise. And I have a question for you, Maddie. Should I cut him?
Okay.
Dr. Hayes is in the building. Next, Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
The Fan is live and local with Morning Juice, Caffeinate, and Dominate.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 9.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Hey, it's Anthony Rothman for my friends at the Bath Authority. Don't wait until your family and friends arrive or the busy holiday season overwhelms you. Now is the time to elevate your bathroom to a whole new level of luxury, style, and safety. At the Bath Authority, you'll get free installation on your new bath or shower and enjoy 36 months of 0% interest financing. That's right, free installation and no interest for 3 years. Visit thebathauthority.com to grab their awesome deal. The Bath Authority, a better bath awaits.
I'll be honest, I'm really worried about my kids and grandkids. I never thought we'd be facing a national abortion ban in this country.
That's Kim. She lives in Cincinnati and is a grandma to 6.
If something happened to my family, I'd want them to have all the help they need. But with a national ban, they'll have nowhere to turn.
Bernie Moreno supports a national abortion ban, and he has said he is 100% against abortion with no exceptions. And if Moreno's in the Senate, he could be the deciding vote to pass a national abortion ban.
Last year, we voted to protect abortion in Ohio. Now, Bernie Moreno wants to get rid of that completely. It's simple. I don't trust Bernie Moreno to do what's right for my family. He should never be Ohio's senator.
Your Community PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising, paid for by Your Community PAC, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Learn more at yourcommunitypac.org.
Hear that? That's the sound of Bernie Moreno shredding evidence to avoid paying his employees. You see, Moreno refused to pay his employees the overtime pay they earn, so they sued him. And after a court ordered Moreno to keep the evidence of his wage theft, what did he do? That's right. He shredded it. Moreno even admitted to shredding evidence in court. He was found liable for wage theft, and a court forced him to pay over $400,000. Innocent people don't shred evidence. And now that Bernie Moreno is running for Senate, he doesn't want to talk about how he was caught ripping off his employees. And that begs the question, do you want a guy like that representing you in the Senate? Bernie Moreno, you can't trust him to be for you. The United Association of Plumbers and Pipe Fitters paid for and is responsible for the content of this ad, UA.org, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. That's 2,000 children every single day. It's a heart-wrenching reality that we can no longer ignore. Find the Children is a non-profit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted vehicle, running or not. Call 1-800-294-0222. We guarantee that you will receive the maximum tax deduction. We provide fast, free pickup with 24-hour response. Call 1-800-294-0222. Find the Children provides crucial resources to help find missing children and educational materials to teach kids how to recognize and avoid predators. Our recovery programs have a proven track record of reuniting kids with their families. It's time to act. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Help us build a world where every child is safe. Pick up the phone and call 1-800-294-0222. Together, we can bring these kids home safely. This advertisement was paid for in partnership with Cars R Us and Find the Children.
Remember how that little girl in Poltergeist was in the TV?
They're here.
Yeah? Well, she's actually dead now. It's quite sad. Anyway, watch your favorite fan shows on your TV by subscribing to us on YouTube. Search 971 The Fan. Do it now.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-687-5192. That's 800-687-5192. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-687-5192.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Another beautiful day out there today, and in fact, sunny skies will be the common denominator this week. 70 for the high today under sunny skies, 43 tonight. So sweaters and jackets definitely needed. Same old tomorrow, 70 with bright blue skies, and on Thursday, it'll be a little bit cooler with a high of 69. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV Weather Impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
All your favorite fan shows are available when you want them.
Head to 971thefan.com and hit that subscribe button.
The Fan, Ohio sports destination. Let's scratch that fantasy football itch. It's Rothman and Ice's Fool's Paradise.
All right. A little Fool's Paradise time. Let's look at the standings in the Fan as CB pulled a large piece of furniture out of his backside last night with a Xavier-worthy touchdown on a little flip from Travis. Yours truly, can't change the team name yet, the Zim Reapers, a.k.a. the Sunny Delights.
This is just your year, man. It's all coming together. I had a friend of mine, DJ. It was his year last year. He was a Michigan fan. They won the Natty. He was a Boston Celtics fan. They won the chip. And now here you are. Another one of my good pals. Hole in one, number one in fantasy. His football team's undefeated. And by the way, CB, you and I heard AR earlier yelling at people in the hallway that they can't crown his Minnesota Vikings. I don't know what that was about.
Cole and Reeser were putting him in the Super Bowl. And I said, we were 5-0 in 2016 and didn't even make the playoffs. I'm going to personally come in there and rip your throats out.
Well, let me ask you this. Why are you allowed to rip their throats out, but you're allowed to bet on my team to win it all right now? And you guys have a much better record. What's the difference?
I think your team's much better. Not much, but I think they're better. I do.
I don't know if that's fair. I don't know if you're allowed to yell at everybody, but then look at me and say
everybody.
I'm joking. And look at me and say that my team is going to win it all and bet on my team to win it all. But nobody else can do that with your team.
I didn't say you were going to win it all. I just bet on them with Ohio State.
Well, that's even worse because you put your money where your mouth is.
Never going to bet on the Vikings to win it all.
But it might just be your year, man.
It might be.
It's all coming together.
I told you we're allowed. You can say whatever you want. I just thought as a show we were all going to be a team, win together, lose together. But we're all branching off into individuality here. Then I will tell you, I'm not saying that they're even going to win their division until they beat the Lions.
CB, fire up the clip because it is that season. The shirts are already printed for the NFC North. It is officially print the shirts season. It's here for your Vikings.
You and I talked about this a while back. There'd be nothing better if we just did an absolute ode to Prince, the Purple Rain Super Bowl. If it was you and I in New Orleans, beads everywhere, and the Vikes playing the Ravens, I think I would probably, after that Super Bowl, just retire.
You just be done being a fan.
No, just be done, period.
Just with everything.
Just Walter White this thing, cabin in the woods, and just be done. Like, I think then that would be it. That'd be the season that you could hope for.
I want you to embrace what's going on right now with your team.
Embracing what's happening with the Zim Reapers, not with
the Vikings. No, history is in the past. That's not going to have any effect on what's going on here. So the shirts are already printed for the NFC North, and I got champagne on ice. Champagne on ice. It's in the fridge, baby.
All right, so the fantasy team is 5-0. I'm currently in first, alone. CB, the dumpster fires have moved up a notch to 7th. He's currently in the playoffs. If it ended today, maybe the name will stay the same now that he's winning. Who knows?
I got to keep it now, but I kind of wanted to be in the same room as Scotty Vegas last night when that touchdown happened because I can just imagine his reaction, and it was probably not great.
You know, I never got whether Brandon's reaction when I beat him by like tenths of a point, whether he woke up to it, like went to bed up 30 and then woke up to it, or whether he was watching the game. I don't have that detail.
Both scenarios stink.
Yeah. And you unfortunately ran into a buzzsaw this week. I think you ran into...
I have no one else to blame but my team's defense.
I blame myself.
Because I went up against Joe Burrow in fantasy. My team had a good week. Wasn't that? My team did their business, but my real-life team decided to say, you know what? We're just not going to play defense this year. Or, for the most part, all year. Whenever we play good quarterbacks, we're not going to play any good defense. So, yeah, you're right. I ran into a buzzsaw. Joey B was on one.
You're right there at 2-3. So we go 5-0. 3-2, 2-3. We have 1, 7, and 9 at this point. And I will ask you this question:
what do you got?
Do I cut Rashee Rice tonight, knowing that he's right now under the gas and probably getting his knee surgically repaired?
Ian Rappaport said his season was done.
No, well, Ian Rappaport also said there was, quote, a glimmer of hope.
What is that?
Maybe for the postseason.
Yeah, I think you can let him go.
For the regular season in fantasy.
Yeah,
I asked Maddie this question, CB, earlier. I said, what would be a miracle? Miracle of all miracles, he comes back in, 2 months? That'd be the miracle of all miracles, right? 8 weeks? And that would be just in time for the fantasy playoffs. And would they throw him in right away? No, they wouldn't. They'd protect him.
Right.
So,
that's it. You're assuming he comes back week 14, 15 and is like full go. And I don't think that's realistic.
You know how in Game of Thrones where somebody unfortunately passes away and then they put their body in the water and somebody shoots like an arrow with fire on it and just, disintegrates the body. I think we can do that for Rashee Rice. I'll take the arrow out with fire. You push his body out into the water. And we can let go of Rashee Rice.
Just float away.
He's buried and done. You don't got to worry about him.
See?
Now, the question is, who are you picking up? Are you trying to replace him with anybody?
I'm thinking.
Oh.
I'm thinking about something.
Okay. Didn't want to give out two. You know what? That's very good coach speak right there by AR. He's learned well from Coach Day and all the other coaches he's heard in the past because he really threaded the needle right there. Hey, I'll throw out
I'll tell you. You want me to just tell you?
No. You don't have to if you don't want to. I like the competitiveness side of you. I like that. You don't want to give out anything. I'm here for that all day long. Hey, just want to throw out a couple names to monitor. Take Bigsby blew up. I don't know if he's going to be available too much in a lot of your leagues, but check it out. Colts wide receiver Josh Downs has figured something out. Now, the thing that we got to add context to with his scenario is that's been with Joe Flacco, but the last 2 weeks have been 9 and 12 targets for Josh Downs. And then Roschon Johnson for the Bears has kind of turned into a low-volume touchdown machine for Chicago. So check out a couple of those names if you need a running back or some wide receiver help.
Yeah, you said it right. It depends on your league. In our league, 14 teams, these guys aren't available. They're on teams. They're rostered. It's tough. You're trying to find guys that might be out there because I do believe that all these guys, all the next man up guys are on rosters. Although I did pick up Tyrone Tracy Jr., who had a great week this week for the Giants, depending on how long. And if Singletary comes back, they might split that backfield. And I got to tell you, I think even Bigsby might, I'm not saying he's splitting completely with ETN, but he's shown enough now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. There's just not enough out there right now for me to just go all in.
Jalen Tolbert looked good for the Cowboys.
With Cooks on IR for sure. Tolbert can continue that. I like him. You're right. CB's claim of Dontavian Wicks turned out to be a nothing, a dud layer, but
he's really just a boomer bust player.
Yeah.
Like you play him for the opportunity of scoring 15 plus, and then he's going to throw up 2 like that too.
Yeah, Xavier Leggett got hurt in week 5. You're right. It's slim pickings now.
Slim pickings this time of year. And also just a reminder, buys are rolling now. The teams that are on bye this week, Kansas City, the Rams, Dolphins, and AR's Minnesota Vikings. We got a text from a friend of ours, Dave Holmes. I'm scouting the parade route. Anything less would be a massive choke. I love it, Dave.
You guys are nuts.
I love it, Dave.
You guys are absolutely nuts.
Dave's also a guy that acknowledges Roman Reigns as his tribal chief, so he's my guy. But yeah, anything less than that's a massive choke, AR. You heard it.
When your team hasn't been to a Super Bowl in nearly 50 years, you don't scout a parade route. All right? CB and I know what we're talking about when it comes to that. Well, because we're in the same club.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
I didn't take it that way.
This guy's got 2 Lombardi sitting behind him right here.
Seen him with my own
shining them
eyes.
up. All right. When we come back, top of the hour Sports Center update, and we have a big-time firing, the timing of it, and does this latest firing affect the biggest trade piece out there? We'll discuss. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
Winners of the prestigious Platinum Microphone Award every year, given to the best radio station in the world. No need to look it up. It's real. The Fan.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-687-5192. That's 800-687-5192. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-687-5192.
Hey, Buckeye fans. As the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, Roosters is kicking off an incredible giveaway you won't want to miss. This football season, we're giving away 12 ultimate Buckeye experiences. 3 drawings, 12 winners with prizes including tickets, sideline passes, and 2 trips to a Buckeye postseason game. Go to roosterswings.com to register and see all the details. 3 drawings, 12 amazing prizes. Register today and every day. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
Get your game room game day ready with Billiards Plus. Pool tables, shuffleboard tables, and games the whole family will enjoy. Now's the time to get your name on a pool table before the holiday rush. Plus, top-of-the-line grills still in stock. Shop Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Create a safe sleep environment for your baby by using the ABCs of safe sleep. Babies are safest alone on their backs in an empty crib. Always place your baby on his or her back while sleeping, and be sure to use a firm sleep surface. Remember, room sharing without bed sharing is safest. For more information, visit childrenandyouth.ohio.gov/infant-safe-sleep.
Hey, it's Anthony. Do more with your money at Tel-Ohio Credit Union. If you know Tel-Ohio Choice Checking, you know all the perks that come with your account. Cash in your benefits by setting up an account today. Find out more at telohio.org.
Certain restrictions apply. Tel-Ohio is open to all in Central and Southwestern Ohio. Federally insured by NCUA.
Valvoline Instant Oil Change wants you to breathe out your oil change-anxiety. And breathe in automotive peace. Visit us today.
Question for you. Would you rather pay $150 a month or $15 a month to work out with the same high-quality gym equipment? At Planet Fitness, you can get top-tier equipment for $15 a month. Plus, save $28 or more when you join now during our Strong Choice sale. Our weights weigh the same, you just don't pay the same. Enjoy free fitness training and 24-hour access at most clubs, all in the judgment-free zone. Join Planet Fitness today and save $28 or more when you join for $1 down, $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends October 10th. See club for details.
Get Nature Stone and never replace your flooring again. Nature Stone is a beautiful permanent flooring solution for garages, basements, and indoor spaces. Act now to get pricing as low as 99 cents a square foot plus installation. Schedule your free cost estimate today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor. Wow, it's Nature Stone.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
And I'm Cole Bartimas. News broke out of the NFL just a couple hours ago that the Jets have fired head coach Robert Saleh. He finishes his tenure in New York with an overall record of 20-36. This firing comes just 5 weeks into the season while the Jets hold a 2-3 record. And the Jets were also top 6 in team penalty yards in 3 out of his 4 years. The American League had their day last night, so the National League will take their place in the baseball schedule today. Phillies and Mets will go at 5:08. Dodgers and Padres at 9:08. Both of those will be a game 3, and both of those series are split 1 apiece. A look ahead to the week in football. 49ers and Seahawks will start it off in Seattle for Thursday Night Football. You don't need me to tell you that Ohio State travels to Oregon. That one will cap a loaded college football Saturday. And on Sunday, the Browns will travel to Philly and the Bengals will play the Giants. That Bengals-Giants duel will be Sunday Night Football. This update is brought to you by Nature Stone. Schedule your free cost estimate today at naturestone.com. Remember, it's not just a floor. Wow, it's Nature Stone.
The perfect ratio of sports talk, dogs, pro wrestling, and gambling advice.
It's science.
You're listening to Rothman and Ice.
Second hour of the program, we'll have Tyvis Powell on at 1:33. What do you hear? What do you say about his brownies? You'll find out at 1:33. Yes, this is somewhat of a surprise. Not from the optics, because all we've seen out of Robert Saleh and Aaron Rodgers has been weird. From the beginning of the offseason, with we knew about that he would be gone, yet we're marking him down as unexcused. Then when they had that, what was that? I have to go back and see what game they had. When
the shove?
The hug shove, the brotherly shove, where Aaron then said, which by the way, I'm not going to flop on that. I did buy it at the time that there was just a little competitiveness there, but I don't know the underlying current. And then last week, the Aaron drawing his own team off sides about 4 times.
Yeah.
And Robert Saleh saying, we probably got to dial that cadence back a little bit. And Aaron's like, well, why don't we just hold the offensive linemen accountable who know what the count is? It's not like we're trying to trick our own offensive linemen. They know it. The defense is not supposed to know it. We huddle. We tell them. And so in a weird way, you could easily say you saw this coming.
100%.
But
100%.
They didn't lay an absolute egg against one of the only 2 undefeated teams in the football. This seems like...
What's the name of that team, by the way?
That's right. The one with the horn.
No. I need you to say it out loud, sir.
Minnesota Vikings.
There we go, baby.
Established 1961. No Super Bowls. 0-4 in the big one. Haven't played in one in about 47 years.
Changed this year, baby.
Get Fran Tarkenton on the phone now.
The writing has been on the wall, to your point, for months. This doesn't surprise me. This doesn't surprise me at all.
Really? The timing of it doesn't surprise you?
I think
it's early,
these guys, they weren't seeing eye to eye. They weren't seeing eye to eye.
So you think he had something to do with it? This isn't just a unilateral Woody Johnson saying, you're gone. Because everything I've read, Aaron did not have influence on this.
Well, people want to get their stories out in situations like this, and I don't think Aaron Rodgers would want to be the fall guy. When I saw it today, I was not surprised at all. I would have been more surprised if he made it the entire year, based off of all the breadcrumbs that we've followed for the last 6 to 8 months with these two guys. The shove was just weird to me. Like it was strange. And like, you're right. We don't know the inner workings of their relationship, but it just never felt cozy to me between these two guys. And when you look at the other characters that are involved in this movie over in Gotham City for them right now, it was never going to be Nathaniel Hackett because of Aaron Rodgers. That's his guy. And it's unfortunate because it does feel like Robert Saleh is a bit of a scapegoat in this situation, because it's not his fault that his quarterback threw 3 interceptions last week, one of them being a pick 6. Robert Saleh is a defensive-minded coach. He came over from San Francisco, was, I believe, the DC there next to Shanahan. The Jets' defense right now ranks 2nd in the whole league in yards allowed and 4th in sacks. So he's handling business. The Jets' offense right now ranks 27th in the league in yards per game. This is, to me, the quarterback having a bunch of power within that building. We saw it last year with Hackett coming in and Alan Lazard and all his homies coming in to Gotham City. And this is just how sports work right now. Unfortunately, we see it all the time in the NBA. We see it in the NFL. When you are the guy and you are the quarterback or the franchise player in the NBA, you got a bunch of power. And so I wouldn't be shocked, and this is just my opinion, if Woody Johnson and Aaron Rodgers have had conversations over the last couple of weeks and said, we need a change. And that change, unfortunately, is Robert Saleh. And it's unfortunate because, yes, as a whole, the team has been underwhelming, but he had to relinquish power to Aaron Rodgers to bring in the offensive coordinator he wanted. And those two guys, that being Hackett and Aaron Rodgers, aren't holding up their end of the deal.
It's early. It was early to make this decision, but they are all in.
Yeah.
And they're all in with an older quarterback. And so if he didn't see this thing going the right way with Saleh, and it really wasn't, then he's got every right to pull ripcord on him. It felt like the timing of it. Adam Schefter did speak on this, and let's get his version.
I think that they believe that they have a really good team. I think that they think this team, especially in that division, can compete to win the division, and it wasn't performing the way that everybody expected. If we watched this team, everybody would admit, every Jet fan, it looked off. They lost at home to Denver. They lost to Minnesota. What's odd is in this day and age, in the National Football League, there are peaks and valleys to every team season. Everybody goes through them. But with the pressure in New York, I just feel like they felt like this is a team that should be performing better, winning more often, and Woody Johnson didn't want to squander what could potentially be the last year of Aaron Rodgers' career.
But he doesn't have any real viable replacement that makes a lot of sense right now.
They're slotting in the DC, I believe.
I don't know any. Honestly, who is it, Jeff Ulbrich? I really don't.
That sounds right, AR.
I don't know much.
I know nothing about him.
He's been around. He's not like 30 years old, but he's been around. But they are bringing in, if the offense is the problem, why are you putting your DC ahead of the?
Because they feel like.
Wouldn't that be putting the same dude?
Yes, because to your point, that's a fair question, but in my opinion, they feel like Hackett and Rodgers can figure this thing out on their own.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's the case because their offense has looked inept outside of one game this year where Aaron Rodgers looked really good a couple weeks ago, but the connection between he and Garrett Wilson has not been very good. I know the numbers looked really good for Garrett Wilson this past week, but game script set up perfectly with the way that you guys came out of the gate and handled them early. What was it, 10-0, 17-0?
17-0.
Early on that. So they had to play catch up via the pass. So that's why those numbers look that way. But outside of that, he and Garrett Wilson have not had the success I know I thought that they would have. I've been wrong about that. So they have a lot of things to figure out here. And this is what happens, to Shefty's point, when you put yourself as a franchise in the pressure cooker and squeeze your window into 2 to 3 years with an older quarterback that comes in talking about those Super Bowl trophies look lonely. Hey, if we don't get it done, we're all out of here. When you start making all those statements like that, you have to, when you're 2-3, well, you don't have to, but it's not a surprise to me that these dramatic changes are happening right now. Because I think there's some people that are with you, AR. Like, oh, yeah, you're 2-3. Yeah, you haven't looked great. You played one of the best teams in the NFL. You lost to them. All hope is not lost, but they're grasping at straws. But I think just the root of this and why it happened now is because the collective minds that are the decision makers, whether that being Johnson, the owner, Rodgers, and Saleh, those guys just weren't on the same page. And they wanted to just get rid of one of the guys in that scenario. And obviously we know it's not going to be the owner, and we know it's not going to be the QB1.
Yeah, I can't sit here and say that Robert Saleh deserved to be fired, but I think the narrative before the season was that this is it, man. We are all in, and the results better be there. And if they're not there, we're not going to worry about whose fault it is. We're going to worry about the head coach is going. He signed a 5-year deal. That was going to expire in 2025. They still owe him $10 million.
Saleh?
Yeah,
okay.
So that's not bad to walk out with that.
Good for you, man.
But the stuff that you and I talked about, and everybody knows, which is Aaron Rodgers and Robert Saleh kind of undermining each other subtly along the way, could not have helped any of this.
No question.
Now, they had a chance the reason I say it's weird is that they were one or two catches away from having a great dramatic comeback.
Yeah.
So this is absolutely results oriented, but it's more of, I think, where the dysfunction. I think they feel like there's an underlying dysfunction in this team right now. And you married Aaron Rodgers, good, bad, or indifferent. Mm-hmm. Like you said, they're not going away from him. So now they have a chance to come home against Buffalo on a Monday night after a bye week with a whole new refreshed attitude and try to come up with a win here to help save their season. I think that defense should keep them in a lot of games. Remember, 7 of the Vikings' points was a pick 6.
No doubt.
So it really wasn't, they weren't absolutely killing them. It was the Jets' offense that couldn't do anything.
3 out of the next 4 games, the New York Jets will be in a primetime slot. You mentioned Monday Night Football. They'll play Sunday Night Football that same week at Pittsburgh, and then in a couple weeks after that on Thursday Night Football, they'll host the Houston Texans and C.J. Stroud. So a lot of eyeballs will be on them over the next month. And I think here's what we know about Aaron. His personality's not for everybody. He's just not. And I think when you have a guy come into a building like this in a pressure-packed situation, I think these type of things aren't a surprise to me. I mean, think about the end of the road in Green Bay with just everything that was said about all those guys and all the decision makers in Green Bay and how they weren't on the same page and how that started with the whole Jordan Love draft pick and seemed to go south after that. So, yeah, he's a prickly guy. He's a cocky guy. And he's going to get his way more times than not because he plays the most important position. But now this has only put more pressure on him. That's all this does now, is because now one of the excuses for the Aaron Rodgers fan base was Robert Saleh is not the guy. He's not the guy. Get him out of here. Well, now he's gone, and this puts your quarterback in the hot seat to get it done.
What if I told you that the Jets had better odds to win the Super Bowl still than the Washington Commanders?
Well, you know what? It doesn't surprise me that much.
In the AFC?
It doesn't, and here's why. Because the structure of their team is why I really like them. Now, Rodgers has got to get his act together and take his game to a whole nother level. But we talked about their defense and how good that is. That gives you a safe floor. And if they can get their offense to just be competent, they're going to mess around and win a nice amount of games this year. But it has to start now, or it's going to get really late, really early for them.
You know, I know what's happening now as far as what people think with Cincinnati and Saleh. I don't see them doing that.
You talking about Zach Taylor going away from Taylor?
No, just
picking him.
Sweet Lou. Exit stage left.
No, I'd be surprised if that happens. I'd be surprised. Now,
they're
to
so
your
young
point,
on deep. Like, it's just, I don't even know if he could fix them.
To your point, Robert Saleh will be a DC sooner rather than later. If that's all he's got to focus on, somebody's going to get a heck of a defensive coordinator.
I'm honestly surprised the Jets' odds are better than Washington right now, just because everybody in the AFC still has to go through you and Kansas City. And the NFC is much more gettable. And the fact that Washington is 30-1 to win it all. And listen, I know they have a rookie quarterback, and the other team has Aaron Rodgers, and that's the difference. It's not a big difference. It's 28-1 for the Jets, 30-1 for Washington, but that is the sole difference between those two odds. People would rather put their money on Aaron Rodgers. All right, we come back and talk Brownie. Stefanski backing his guy. The bigger question, should we believe him? You'll hear it next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
If your idea of the perfect radio show is all Buckeyes all the time, then it's your lucky day, Slappy, the Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan.
Marty Brenneman here for Tri-State Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health for treating erectile dysfunction and low testosterone issues. And they're the leader for a reason, because I can tell you from my own experience of being treated there, Tri-State Men's Health is top shelf. Far too many men wait to get their ED treated, but I want to tell you today that you shouldn't wait any longer. If you're suffering with ED and are like most guys, a medical team at Tri-State Men's Health will get you back on track fast. They have the experience, they have the treatment protocols, and they know what they're doing. At Tri-State Men's Health, they have ED treatments that are effective in well over 90% of men. They can even combine treatments for better results. You might even find yourself performing like you haven't in years. So make an appointment today. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 800-900-9654 or go to TriStateMen'sHealth.com. They have 6 offices in the tri-state area to serve you.
I'll be honest, I'm really worried about my kids and grandkids. I never thought we'd be facing a national abortion ban in this country.
That's Kim. She lives in Cincinnati and is a grandma to 6.
If something happened to my family, I'd want them to have all the help they need. But with a national ban, they'll have nowhere to turn.
Bernie Moreno supports a national abortion ban, and he has said he is 100% against abortion with no exceptions. And if Moreno's in the Senate, he could be the deciding vote to pass a national abortion ban.
Last year, we voted to protect abortion in Ohio. Now, Bernie Moreno wants to get rid of that completely. It's simple. I don't trust Bernie Moreno to do what's right for my family. He should never be Ohio's senator.
Your Community PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising, paid for by Your Community PAC, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Learn more at yourcommunitypac.org.
If you miss a little, you'll miss a lot. Search for your favorite fan shows wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe. Every episode comes right to your phone absolutely free. Modern technology, it's a hell of a thing. Do it now. The Fan.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Is your business generating over $1 million a year in revenue? If your financial advisory team isn't keeping pace, maybe it's time for a change. Here's Brad Hennebert with Premier Advisors.
Thanks, Bobby. Our team integrates financial planning and asset management with business accounting and tax preparation. Business owners have planning needs that are unique. We work with you to design a seamless financial services bundle tailored to your business with monthly or quarterly advisory consultations to help guide you along the way. We don't just keep score of what happened last year. Our team combines expert financial planning and wealth management with top-tier tax services, helping businesses like yours build wealth for you. Call us today at 614-524-4888. That's 614-524-4888.
Brad Hennebert is a registered representative offering securities through United Planners Financial Services. Member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through TCP Asset Management LLC. Tax services offered through Premier Tax CPAs. United Planners is not affiliated with TCP Asset Management, Premier Advisors, or Premier Tax CPAs.
Hear that? That's the sound of Bernie Moreno shredding evidence to avoid paying his employees. You see, Moreno refused to pay his employees the overtime pay they earn, so they sued him. And after a court ordered Moreno to keep the evidence of his wage theft, what did he do? That's right, he shredded it. Moreno even admitted to shredding evidence in court. He was found liable for wage theft, and a court forced him to pay over $400,000. Innocent people don't shred evidence. And now that Bernie Moreno is running for Senate, he doesn't want to talk about how he was caught ripping off his employees. And that begs the question, do you want a guy like that representing you in the Senate? Bernie Moreno, you can't trust him to be for you. The United Association of Plumbers and Pipefitters paid for and is responsible for the content of this ad, UA.org, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Hello again, everyone. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud. Today, look for bright sunny skies with a high of 70. Chilly tonight with a low of 43 in Columbus. But if you are outside of the I-270 loop, you'll probably get down to the upper 30s on Wednesday morning. Tomorrow afternoon, going 70 for the high, 70 again on Thursday. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV weather impact forecast on 97.1 The Fan.
Bet365 is the exclusive online sportsbook of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
You're listening to Rothman and Ice, the #1 rated midday show in Columbus.
Sponsored by Pella Columbus, the #1 rated windows and doors in Columbus.
Yeah, Browns are a mess. Deshaun's a big part of it. They got dudes around him not playing that great either. Where did the defense go on Sunday? They checked out.
They got
Washington,
Daniels.
and they did. And that's part of it, too. And we said that yesterday. You can't just say they lost to a nothing team, but the way they lost, how embarrassing that was. Dudes getting beat left and right. And we talked about this a lot. Deshaun's not seeing it. He's not feeling it. The confidence isn't there. When he breaks contain, when he should be really deadly, that's not there either. That's the one thing I've noticed is when he gets out of containment, you're thinking, okay, now he's got him. He's that good. Now he's got freelance ability, and you got routes that are breaking off, and that's when he should be able to hurt you, and he still can't find a way. And
you think it's his confidence? Because I was thinking about this too. This is a guy that he tore his ACL a couple years ago. He dealt with shoulder injuries. He's coming off an off season where you have shoulder surgery and all that stuff. Like, I think when you have that type of fall from grace, I mean, where he was a handful of years ago, he was in that class of the Mahomes, and maybe he was the biggest threat to him, and this is a top 3 quarterback in the league. And I just wonder, not even just Deshaun, any athlete, where it happens that fast for you, like that has to be a struggle, I think, to crawl out of. And so I think maybe it's two-part of physically he knows I can't do what I used to do, and then mentally just being buried by that lack of confidence. I don't know. I'm trying to figure this out because it's wild to see this guy really just struggle the way that he has for an extended period of time and really hurt this Browns team, it seems like, week in and week out with his lack of production.
He lost his edge somewhere along the line. Yeah. And maybe it's because of the lack of games he's played over the last 2 years. Maybe that's got part of it. Maybe you're right. Injuries do affect confidence. If you can't throw it, or you can't feel like you can throw it, that can affect a guy. He already got paid, but you think the pride alone, the way out of the narrative personally is to play better professionally, and then you get all the praise from that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't. I think the offensive line certainly had a lot to do with it, but he has been really below average. He can still make throws. We've seen it. He can still throw football. To me, he just can't see it when he needs to see it. The clutch gene is not there, or it's gone. And maybe all it would take is one dramatic victory to get it back for him. But he's had 2 opportunities this year to bring his team back. No matter what happened along the way, he had a chance to see it against Vegas and see it against Washington. And both times he made the wrong decision. And I know against Vegas, I didn't add the right game. The Giants and Vegas, very eerily similar games for me, and that he had the ball late in his hands in a 1-score game, and on 4th down, he didn't make the right read. I guess against Vegas, people said, well, his offensive line got blown back in his face. He was looking right at Amari, who got doubled. He knew where he had to go with the football. He didn't let it go on 4th down. I don't know where they go from this. I don't really believe completely that Stefanski is making this decision on his own. I think they're kind of all in with him. It's 5 games, and they're not ready to say, we're giving up on you. Because the guy that they have behind him, Jameis Winston, is, would I like to see this happen? Sure. Anything different might be good. But I'm not here to tell you that he's the answer, but he may deserve right now to have the chance to be the answer. But if you're sticking another quarterback behind that offensive line and hoping that everything changes, I think that's a little bit of fool's gold.
That's where DTR comes into play for me a little bit too, based off of his skill set, right? Like, obviously it's not an ideal situation, but maybe that does help you out a little bit when you would have a quarterback back there with a nice amount of athleticism. So I don't know exactly where that would go if they ever do make a change, but I did think about DTR in this because they've kept him around, and he's just had flashes, and that's all it's been. But he's a young guy that I know some Browns fans like and maybe want to see a little bit more from. So it doesn't seem like that's what Kevin wants to do. CB, let's go ahead and play the second one on what Kev believes is their best chance to win at quarterback.
Deshaun can play better. He will play better. He's had some obviously good moments, and then there's times that we have to play better around him. But he's committed to getting better. We're committed as an offense to putting our guys in position to succeed. This is not a one-person type of deal. When we're playing how we're playing on offense, we need everybody to do their job and do their job better. And I look at myself and how I can do that. But I believe in Deshaun. I believe in what he brings to this offense, and I believe he will play better.
I hear that. I just don't know if when Kev's laying down at night, he truly believes that, because he's seen his offense succeed without this guy. And I was looking at some stuff, and you go back to when Baker was there. I don't even know if Kevin's running the type of offense that he wants to run, because when Baker Mayfield was there in 2020, they were only in the shotgun 42% of the time. That ranked 29th in the league. This year right now, they're in the shotgun 82% of the time, which is 6th in the NFL. So I think Kevin Stefanski is handcuffed by Deshaun Watson right now, and he can't get to everything on his play sheet because of the lack of ability right now, whether that's mental or physically or a combination of both from Deshaun Watson. So I hear what he says, and I respect that he has to save face by saying those things as a head coach and try to infuse confidence into Deshaun. But the actions of his offense without Deshaun lead me to believe that he doesn't truly believe that Deshaun Watson gives them the best chance to win.
Yeah. I think the Browns ideally want to go, we talked about this before the season, 3 wide and spread it out, very college-like, bootleg him out, do a lot of the stuff that makes him him. And Njoku and Judy were supposed to be a big part of that. It didn't matter that Jerome Ford was there and not Nick Chubb, and just create mismatches. And right now, they haven't been able to do that, whether it's the offensive line or whether it's Deshaun or everything that I just said.
Yeah.
Njoku's been out. Mm-hmm. That's been a part of it. Judy's been okay. Cooper hasn't been great. He's been feast or famine for them.
But it's not on those guys. You're just the quarterback play that you're getting is just not good enough.
So it's time to make a change.
Yeah.
Which soundbite was that, CB? What number was that? 2? Yeah, he can say everything he wants in front of a microphone. I'm making it's on the coaches. It's on us. We got to
just coach speak.
It is.
That's all
it absolutely is. But here's the weird thing is that you would think he'd want to just try it. Let's see.
I think he does. And I know that, and I think Bo said it on his show that it's not, I hear Bo and I respect his opinion. I'm just not buying it. I think this is the Haslam's imposing their will on this whole situation.
Tyvis Powell has an ear to the ground up there. We'll ask him if he believes it next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
Wake up with the Fan. Eat lunch with the Fan. Go to bed with the Fan. Dream about the Fan. Then change your sheets. Gross.
Ew, you guys are gross, but stick around in case I don't find anyone else.
The Fan.
The season may be winding down, but there's still time to make the most of Buckeye Lake. At Buckeye Lake Marina, we have year-end deals on boats, accessories, and more to get you ready for next year's adventures. Looking to upgrade? The Buckeye Lake Marina staff is there to help you find the perfect boat at unbeatable prices. Buckeye Lake Marina has a long list of satisfied customers and want you to be the next. Don't wait. Sail into savings at Buckeye Lake Marina before the year ends and find the boat that's just right for you. Visit BuckeyeLakeMarina.com for more.
In his campaign ads, Sherrod Brown thinks everything's pretty funny. But it's not when you look at his voting record. Brown voted to allow transgender biological males to compete in girls' sports. Unfair and dangerous. Brown introduced a bill letting transgender biological men into girls' locker rooms and girls' bathrooms. That's just not right. And Brown supported allowing puberty blockers and sex change surgery for children. Migrants are flooding into Ohio, but Brown voted for government handouts to illegal immigrants and voted 10 times to protect sanctuary cities that release dangerous illegal immigrant criminals onto Ohio's streets. Sorry, Sherrod, your seriously bad votes are no joke. And Ohio doesn't think it's funny. Sherrod Brown has let us down. He's way too liberal for Ohio. Senate Leadership Fund paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.senateleadershipfund.org.
Get your game room game day ready with Billiards Plus. Pool tables, shuffleboard tables, and games the whole family will enjoy. Now's the time to get your name on a pool table before the holiday rush. Plus, top-of-the-line grills still in stock. Shop Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
At APCO Windows, there's no 35% off sales, no buy one, get one free, just our best bottom line price. So get multiple estimates. Just make sure one is from APCO.
Absolutely, absolutely. You can trust APCO.
APCO.com.
Here's Here's a quick listening guide. When something's on the fan, it's on the station you're listening to right now. If I say something's on ESPN Columbus, it's on 1460 AM and the Fan's HD2. When in doubt, stream it on the Fan app. Thank you and good night.
Common Man here for Universal Windows Direct. Fall is here. It's the perfect time to replace those old, drafty windows before the cold sets in. As temperatures drop, you don't want to be stuck with windows that make your heating system work overtime because that will cost you money. My guys at Universal Windows Direct back everything up with a true lifetime warranty as long as you own the home and a 20-year warranty to the next homeowner. Plus 0% financing for 60 months. Restrictions apply because they always do. Call them today, 614-502-5220, or go to uwd.com.
If you're struggling with ED or your performance is down and your belly fat is growing, listen up. You've got one life. Now is the time to act.
At the Columbus Men's Clinic, we're not just healthcare, we're your secret weapon. Don't wait another day. Here's why you need to act right now.
Every moment you delay, your condition could worsen. It's not just about sex, it's about your heart, your relationship, your life.
The Columbus Men's Clinic has over 10 years of proven results for low testosterone and increasing drive, energy level, and performance. We've introduced ED and enhancement treatments so exclusive, you'll wonder why you waited.
Procrastination is the thief of time. When it comes to your sexual health, you can't afford to wait. Join the League of Gentlemen who've walked out of our doors with a swagger.
Call the Columbus Men's Clinic at 614-300-7400 or visit columbusmensclinic.com. Book your $99 male performance consultation now, including blood work. Call 614-300-7400 or visit columbusmensclinic.com. The Columbus Men's Clinic, making it happen.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-687-5192. That's 800-687-5192. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-687-5192.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Rothman and Ice present Breaking Down the Browns with Tyvis Powell.
Sponsored by the Roofing Guys. For all your roofing, siding, and gutter needs, contact the Roofing Guys at theroofingguys.com.
No truth to the rumor that we're changing the segment from Breaking Down the Browns to the Browns Are Breaking. That hasn't happened yet. But Tyvis Powell is with us to diagnose the patient at this point, sir. Where do you think the biggest weakness is on the team right now, if you had to prioritize it? They bring you into the room and they say, Tyvis Powell, rank our biggest weaknesses.
Well, I mean, you would start with the offensive line. I mean, every place begins and ends with the offensive line, okay? And yes, the quarterback is right there. It's like 1A, 1B right now. But if you're asking me to pick one, I would go with the offensive line first. Because, like I said, you got to get the protection in there. Some of the snaps, some of the plays, that offensive line is getting beat fast, and nobody can make a play. But then I will tell you that there's times where they're blocking pretty cleanly, and then the quarterback's not making plays. So there you go. So if I had to put my top three, O-line, quarterback, wide receiver.
Let me ask you this. When it comes to what role the Haslams may or may not be playing in this quarterback decision, what do you believe / know about that scenario and whether or not Kevin Stefanski truly has all power when it comes to benching Deshaun Watson?
And before you answer that, just remember.
All right, listen, it's not what you know, it's what you can prove.
All right, now go ahead.
Well, before I answer this question, what I want to say first is I really believe that the Haslams are wonderful owners. You know, the way that they pay me my check every month, I really appreciate
this
it.
guy.
So I've already lost the job previously because of some stuff I said. So with that being said, I will say that I don't know who's making those decisions. Obviously, you know, the Haslam's have been known to be involved with the football team. You know, around the league, you know, there's different type of owners who really don't know much about the sport. They let their general managers and other people run the team. The Haslams are one of those people that wants to be involved, wants to help make decisions. Listen, fact of the matter is, you pay somebody $230 million, you want to see that man out there playing. So, you know, you want to see a return on your investment. So if they are in Kevin's ear saying, you know, they want him to continue to keep playing, then you know why. I mean, you give somebody $230 million, you want something out of the deal. So I get that. But at some point, you know, you do have to think about the other 52 other players that's on that roster and do what gives them the best opportunity to, you know, make or win games on Sundays.
All right, so yes, you're exactly right. He's been sacked 26 times in the first 5 games. That's brutal. Maybe some are on him, most are on the offensive line. Aside from who's making the decision, let's forget about that for a minute, Tyvis. Do you think that Jameis Winston would make a difference or no?
So, you know, it's multiple ways you can look at it. You know, from some of them plays, how the offensive line is getting beat, no, he wouldn't make that much of a difference. But then again, when you think about the quarterback spot, there's times where guys are open. And Deshaun, for whatever reason, is having a very rough time processing what's going on. It's like his clock is slow in his head. It's like he can't figure out what coverage they're in. Okay, now I need to get the read 1-2 check now. You know, things are breaking down, you know, and then on top of that, it's at times where he's seeing ghosts where the pocket's clean, but he's so used to getting hit and his clock is so sped up in his head that he's already taken off, you know. So, you know, when you think about Jameis, first of all, I think if you put Jameis in, you have to go back to the old Kevin Stefanski scheme. You know, running the ball, play action, because I think he would thrive in that. I do think with this new scheme, with this new spread thing, you know, I think that's more Ken stuff. So, you know, Ken should, that's why I think, you know, Kevin at some point should give up the play calling to Ken, because he would know his offense inside and out more so than Kevin would. But when you ask me about Jameis, yeah, I think Jameis could give you some better plays, but if that offensive line is doing their job.
All right, so we got the Philadelphia Eagles hosting the Brownies this week. Eagles coming off a bye. When you look at what the Eagles have done and what is important for the Browns this weekend, what's your assessment on this game?
Well, obviously, the Eagles is getting Devontae back and A.J. Brown back, so it's going to be a big boy job for that secondary. And obviously, last week they didn't look great. You know, I think Denzel has been in and out of the lineup, and it's really messing up things a lot. And Martin Emerson, he has regressed this season, to say the least. So those guys are going to have to step up and make plays. The Eagles are coming off of that bye week, so they got an extra week to recover. They got an extra week to study film and stuff like that. So, you know, the Browns have to figure something out offensively, because it could turn into a shootout. That defense, if they got any fight in them, any life left, they got to come out and they got to play their best ball. Up until this season, we still have not seen that defense that we seen last year. And these are the games last year that they thrived on, the games that we counted them out, the games that we said they had no possible way of winning was the games that they actually found a way to win last year. So find out this week if last year was an anomaly or if that's who they really are. I tell you what, I listened to Rodney McLeod earlier today talk on 92.3, and, you know, he was saying that, you know, all the teams that they lost to so far has been really NFC teams. They're 1-1 against the AFC. Their mindset is they're focused on winning the AFC games. We'll see. We'll see about that. Obviously, the Eagles are an NFC opponent, but if they need to find a way to win games, and it has to start with this week. If you get to 1-5, you know, you guys going to start checking out. You know, it's a big discount on flights to Cancun right now. It's probably a huge discount, and you don't really want guys partaking in that at this moment.
Tyvis Powell with us, the former national champ. All right, what is the most intriguing matchup or the most intriguing part of Ohio State versus Oregon for you right now?
I tell you what, though, what I didn't realize until about an hour ago is how efficient the Buckeyes have been in the red zone. I think when you look at the red zone, I think Oregon is about 73% scoring touchdowns. Ohio State's like 95, 98 or something like that. So to me, it comes down to who does a better job in the red zone. I think I seen Ryan Day saying something about this earlier today, too. You know, the difference in this game could be not scoring a touchdown but kicking the field goal in the red zone. Like, that could be the big difference when you got two teams that know how to score really well. So the red zone defense for both teams is going to be what I'm looking at the most.
If you had a message, I want you to put your former player hat on, and you were in warm-ups, and Tez Johnson and the wide receivers were warming up close to the 50, and you were at the 50-yard line. What would Tyvis Powell's message be to the wide receiver core of Oregon before you kicked off?
You want me to go back to the old me?
Yeah, the old Tyvis Powell.
Number 23 for the Buckeyes.
Yeah, I want him to come out.
He would have said some insane stuff. He would have said, y'all ain't who y'all think y'all are. Y'all going to get strapped today. You know what? Y'all might as well take the game off because this secondary going to be all Clam City today. Y'all on house arrest for the rest of this game. I'd have been talking cash money out there. They would have tried to fight me in the pregame.
That's what I wanted to hear right there. That's the type of energy that the Buckeye secondary needs this week. Because Tyvis, they've been hearing all off season about this game and Tez Johnson and Evan Stewart and Dylan Gabriel. Those guys got to be fired up to answer the call.
Oh, absolutely. Listen, the thing about this team is that secondary. Really, with IGB, he's changed the whole identity of that whole entire team. You know, obviously, what I'm saying, he actually is going to say. Like, they all be trash talking now, and they all are very competitive, and it really stems from that secondary. So those guys got to lead the way in this game. They're going to be tested early and often. And if they make plays, listen, by all means, get up, celebrate it, shoot the bow and arrow, do the no-fly zone, all that stuff. You want to try to demoralize them and make them feel like, hey, we got to come with our A game all game today. And when you shut them down, you let them know, like, hey, this ain't that. This different. You tell them that this Big Ten football is different over here, bruh. The stuff that y'all did in the Pac-12 is done. It's done when y'all play the Buckeyes. That's the type of energy and type of stuff they got to say to them.
There we go. That's what I needed right there.
Man, I wish I was playing.
Just don't burn it on Tuesday. That's all. Save it for Saturday night. Absolutely. All right, Tyvis, well done, my man. Be well. We'll talk to you later in the week.
Go Browns, go Bucks.
There he is on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. Buckeye Bulletin next. We'll update the spread for you. It has changed. And Ryan Day's first impressions of the Ducks. You'll hear it next. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
1, 2, 3. Here in the Fan is always football o'clock. Proud to be your home of the Buckeyes, Browns, and all the NFL games you can handle. The Fan.
Football fans, are you ready to score big this NFL season? Hey, it's T-Bone to tell you that Bud Light and 97.1 The Fan have teamed up for the ultimate football face-off. Join us each week for football face-off events and your chance to win a trip to Vegas where you'll compete for the grand prize. A trip for 2 to New Orleans or the Super Bowl. Drink Bud Light, enjoy the games, and take your shot at football glory. This week, join me on Sunday at Donnericks on North High for the Browns-Eagles game. I'll be there from 2 to 4 p.m. to give you a shot at going to the Super Bowl.
It's never too soon to get a jump on your holiday shopping, especially at Meijer. Start saving this week with our earliest holiday deals and get over 40% off on items like Mr. Coffee Coffee Maker or SodaStream Terra Machine. Start checking off your list and get 20% off on select toys like Nerf and Series Dart Blasters, Play-Doh play sets, and assorted puzzles. Shop even more great gift ideas like these in the Meijer Holiday Gift Guide, available on Meijer.com, in-store, or in the Meijer app. Exclusions apply.
Tire Discounters announces our latest breakthrough, TD Chat BS. This software allows us to detect untruths, deceptions, and even outright lies. Let's listen in as we call a local car dealer.
Hi,
I drive your model of auto or truck. I need servicing.
Oh, that's great. You should always call the dealer for service to make sure your warranty stays intact.
Untruth.
Excuse me?
I can attend at Tire Discounters for all services, even for all manufacturers' scheduled maintenance. Warranty not affected.
But it's only us dealers who really know our own models.
Deception. Tire Discounters technicians are certified experts for all makes and models.
Okay, maybe.
How many dollars do you charge me for? As few as Tire Discounters?
We are not that much more.
Outright lie. Ending call now. Bye.
No,
Adios.
but
Aloha. Hasta la pasta.
Right now, save up to $250 on Cooper tires, and Shocks and Struts are buy 3, get 1 free.
Bishop and Friends.
The only thing not DVRable is sports you care about. You are leveraged because of that. It's the reason that these rights deals are going for as big as they are.
Bishop and Friends.
Sponsored by Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan.
Busy schedule? This is Ryan Krieger, and Krieger Ford has you covered. Krieger Ford offers pickup and delivery, or our mobile service van will come right to you. It's fast, easy, and hassle-free. Schedule your appointment today only at KriegerFord.com.
All right. Protect yourself, Ohio. Get your shots for COVID and flu today. A message from the Ohio Departments of Health and Aging.
I need a small order of sheet metal to repair something in the shop. It's not much, but can you help me out?
At Metal Supermarkets, no order is too small.
Wait, really?
Yep.
What about small home projects?
Yep.
For a car I'm working on?
Yep.
Any kind of metal?
Yep.
Cut to size?
Yep.
With no minimum order?
Yep.
How about 1,000 cut pieces of aluminum flat bar?
Yep. Choose from over 8,000 types, shapes, and grades of metal in any quantity you need. And yes, we're serious. Any metal, any size, ready fast. Locally owned on Wilson Road.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. That's 2,000 children every single day. It's a heart-wrenching reality that we can no longer ignore. Find the Children is a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted vehicle, running or not. Call 1-800-294-0222. We guarantee that you will receive the maximum tax deduction. We provide fast, free pickup with 24-hour response. Call 1-800-294-0222. Find the Children provides crucial resources to help find missing children and educational materials to teach kids how to recognize and avoid predators. Our recovery programs have a proven track record of reuniting kids with their families. It's time to act. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Help us build a world where every child is safe. Pick up the phone and call 1-800-294-0222. Together, we can bring these kids home safely. This advertisement was paid for in partnership with Cars R Us and Find the Children.
It's almost Football Friday. All play and no work.
Sponsored by Tansky Sawmill Toyota.
Your home for football, The Fan. Rothman and Ice present Buckeye Bulletin.
Sponsored by Logan AC and Heat Services. Don't go through another furnace breakdown. For fast, friendly service, call the experts at Logan Services now for a free estimate and next day furnace installation.
All right, Saturday can't come soon enough. Your number 2 Ohio State Buckeyes at number 3 Oregon. It is the clash of all clashes. And the spread has come down a hair, Ohio State. I mean, originally, weeks ago, I think maybe before the season, not after the openers because Oregon was so bad early. But Ohio State, I think, was a very tiny dog, maybe -1, -2.5. I'm sorry, +1, +2.5.
Little puppy.
And then it went to and then it went to even. I think it went to a pick 'em, and now then it launched to 4, and now it's back to 3.5. So Ohio State is a road favorite.
And just a quick reminder too, this game will be on NBC, and I can't keep up week to week. I got to check every Saturday morning. Like some of them are on Fox, some of them are on CBS, NBC, Peacock. This Saturday evening, folks, the game will be on NBC. So just wanted to clarify that for the folks.
WNBC.
Yeah.
It is nice to know that it's going to be on regular, with air quotes, television.
You need Peacock
for everybody. When they put up the stats on this game, Dylan Gabriel, almost 1,500 yards, 11 touchdowns, 3 picks. He had a couple in the last game. Their running back, James, has 5 touchdowns. Obviously, Jeremiah Smith's the big leader on Ohio State side. 23 catches, 453, 6 scores.
Isn't their running back a double first name guy?
Is it John?
Is he Jordan James? Yeah, he's Jordan
right.
James.
Yeah.
Would you rather be Jordan James or James Jordan?
Probably leave it at Jordan James, because if I'm James Jordan, somebody will probably make it Jim or Jimmy. And I don't know if I want Jimmy Jordan. Jim Jordan. I don't want that. So give me a Jordan James.
Yeah, with the Jordan
Just because then
James.
no one can really change your first name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's a good player.
It's like me, right? I mean, my mother called me Tony once. She learned.
My mom has never in her life called me Matt. Not once.
Matthew.
That's it. Or if I'm in trouble, it's the middle name.
Adding to the first name.
No. Like when I'm in
on its
trouble,
own.
it's just the middle name only. And I know that's when my mom has some smoke for me coming my way. Shout out to Mama Hayes. Love you. Yeah, that's how I knew. I was in trouble, man. Just straight middle name.
Ryan Day on his first impressions of Oregon.
A very experienced quarterback, explosive running back, really skilled players. Slot receiver is dynamic. Offensive line is growing. Tight end's an NFL player. So a lot of talent on the offensive side of the ball. Same thing on defense. They're really, really talented pass rushers and, some really thick, stout guys up front, but really good athletes on the back end. So and they play good on special teams, well coached, one of the better teams in the country. So, the top 5 matchup on the road. And so we got, again, looking forward to this. This one's been circled for a while for us.
He mentioned the experience of Dylan Gabriel off the top. The guy's played 55 games in his career going back to 2019 when he was at UCF and spent a couple years at Oklahoma. And now he's over there in Eugene doing his thing. That's going to be a fun matchup, not only just what the players themselves can do to try to slow down Dylan Gabriel, but a veteran defensive coordinator in Jim Knowles and what he has in his bag. Because there's been a lot of conversations about the offense and, hey, they haven't shown everything because they haven't needed to. I think the same could be said for Jim Knowles and his guys there in disguising different things and where pressure is coming from and all of those funky things you can throw at a quarterback. Can Jim Knowles find a way to fool Dylan Gabriel with some trickery in this game? That's something that I cannot wait to see as well.
It's a big part of it, rattling him. He got rattled last week, threw a couple red zone picks, pick inside the 5-yard line, taking points off the board. You want to talk about frustration. That's it. In a game like this, where they expect a semi-shootout, you're right. The team that defends the best in the end is probably going to be the winner. Nobody expects either team to be able to shut the other team down completely. I think the over-under's now in the low 50s, 50-something.
Sounds about right. Like a 24-21 type of game.
28-20. Yeah, somewhere in that
ballpark.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if that's what we get because these teams can go. They absolutely can go.
Yeah. Gabriel's completing 78% of his passes, but the 3 turnovers I've mentioned, he's taken 7 sacks in 5 games. But, yeah, they're dealing with some offensive line stuff. They had some growing pains to start this year, Oregon. And now here they are with a chance to really vault themselves because they beat Ohio State. They're going to number 1. And Ohio State beats them. They're going to number 1, you would think. Unless Texas somehow reels off a couple of just unbelievable victories, like just absolutely just takes Oklahoma behind the woodshed and then beats Georgia, then they would leapfrog back. But we know what this game means to both.
You don't think that's all Texas would need this week is to just beat Oklahoma handily? In a comfortable fashion? Because the only reason why I'm asking...
Comfortable fashion would probably keep them at number 1.
Probably. The only reason why I bring that up is just because the way the voting was divided up this past week with the poll. It wasn't very close with number 1 votes for Ohio State. Texas didn't even play this week. That's the only reason why I think if Texas handles business against Oklahoma and wins by, 10 or 13 points. The first place voting this past weekend, coming out of the weekend, was 52-9.
Well, they took all the votes away from Bama and had to hand them to somebody.
But why didn't
you're
Ohio
right,
State
they didn't split them.
That's the only reason why.
Because it was 19-4. Well, I think it was 40. Texas had 40. No, Bama had 40.
So it was last week, to your point, you're right. It was Bama at 40, Texas at 19, Ohio State at 4. And Texas didn't play last week. And Ohio State looked good against Iowa and only got 9 first-place votes. So I don't get that.
So they had 40 votes to work with.
Yeah.
And Texas got pretty much all of them, but 4 or 5? Is what you're saying?
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe I'm putting too much stock in going on the road to beat number 3. I just feel like that should have more weight than at home against 15. But if you're already number one, you're right. Unless you beat them ugly. Unless you're Texas and you barely get by. And you're Ohio State and you go in there and look like a machine.
That's going to be fascinating to see come Monday morning if both teams handle business, that being the Longhorns and the old Buckeyes.
Yeah, and then the other thing is, how far does the loser drop?
I think if you're Ohio State or Oregon, you're not falling too far. I mean, Bama lost to an unranked Vanderbilt team, and they're still 7th in the country.
And if Ohio State loses and Penn State wins, and they're not playing a ranked team, is Ohio State behind Penn State?
Probably. With Penn State being 6-0, probably. But I still think Ohio State's not falling too far.
No, you can't fall further than probably 6.
Both Bama and Tennessee lost, and they're 7th and 8th in the country.
Yeah. All right, there's your Buckeye Bulletin for today. When we come back, a little true or false with the NFL, and we will revisit, as we do every week, our Final Four predictions in the NFL. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
We're the highest-rated sports radio station in America. There's no joke there. We just are. The Fan, Ohio's sports destination.
Hey, it's Anthony Rothman for my friends at the Bath Authority. Don't wait until your family and friends arrive or the busy holiday season overwhelms you. Now is the time to elevate your bathroom to a whole new level of luxury, style, and safety. At the Bath Authority, you'll get free installation on your new bath or shower and enjoy 36 months of 0% interest financing. That's right, free installation and no interest for 3 years. Visit thebathauthority.com to grab their awesome deal. The Bath Authority, a better bath awaits.
If you have ever thought about remodeling your bathroom but were worried it would take too long or cost too much, then stop worrying. Right now, Jacuzzi Bath Remodel has designed a collection of high-quality custom products and perfected the one-day remodeling experience so you can enjoy your new bathroom faster than ever before. It's a worry-free bath remodel from the most trusted brand name in the business, Jacuzzi. A jacuzzi bath system fits in your existing tub space. It's a no-mess installation with an amazing style selection, factory-certified installers, and a limited lifetime warranty. Call 800-717-4599. That's 800-717-4599 right now and get 50% off installation with no interest and no payments for 12 months. Replace that old bathtub today with a walk-in shower for a safer bathing experience. If you have lived in your home for over 15 years, it's time to remodel your bathroom. For a virtual or in-home appointment, call 800-717-4599. That's 800-717-4599. 800-717-4599.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every single night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I get it. But there are alternatives to the CPAP machine, and Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and stops your snoring. What a concept. It's quick, comfortable, and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and he has a track record to prove it. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. And as the end of the year approaches, a lot of people have exceeded their medical deductibles, which means less out of pocket for you. Don't delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. Or you can visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or sleepbettercolumbus.com.
What John Smiley, Chairman and CEO, wants you to know about First Bank of Central Ohio.
Our competitive advantage is the number of years we've been in Central Ohio and the fact that we're able to make decisions here locally that make sense for the client. At the end of the day, it's the ability for us to say, okay, what can we do to make your banking easier for you?
Experience what it's like to be first at fbcentralohio.com. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Gambling too much? I'm Abdullah Mahmood, problem gambling counselor at Mary Haven, where we offer in-person, virtual, and group options. We're here for you no matter what, and that's a bet you can actually count on this football season. Go to maryhaven.com today.
Get Nature's Stone and never replace your flooring again. Nature's Stone is a beautiful, permanent flooring solution for garages, basements, and indoor spaces. Act now to get pricing as low as 99 cents a square foot plus installation. Schedule your free cost estimate today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor. Wow, it's Nature's Stone.
Broadcasting from the Lindsay Honda Studios.
Honda makes the cars. Lindsay makes the difference. Visit lindsayhonda.com.
WBNS-FM, HD1 Columbus. The Fan. Sports Center.
And I'm Cole Bartimus. News broke out of the NFL just a couple hours ago that the Jets have fired head coach Robert Saleh. He finishes his tenure in New York with an overall record of 20-36. This firing comes just 5 weeks into the season while the Jets hold a 2-3 record. And the Jets were also top 6 in team penalty yards in 3 out of his 4 years. The American League had their day last night, so the National League will take their place in the baseball schedule today. Phillies and Mets will go at 5:08. Dodgers and Padres at 9:08. Both of those will be a game 3, and both of those series are split 1 apiece. A look ahead to the week in football. 49ers and Seahawks will start it off in Seattle for Thursday Night Football. You don't need me to tell you that Ohio State travels to Oregon. That one will cap a loaded college football Saturday. And on Sunday, the Browns will travel to Philly and the Bengals will play the Giants. That Bengals-Giants duel will be Sunday Night Football. This update is brought to you by Nature Stone. Schedule your free cost estimate today at naturestone.com. Remember, it's not just a floor. Wow, it's Nature Stone.
Most shows just skim the surface, but Rothman and I feel like the biggest story of the day deserves a closer look. It's time for a deeper dive.
Sponsored by Maxima Concrete. Visit MaximaConcrete.com today to schedule your free estimate.
All right, final hour of the program. Austin Ward will jump on at 2:33. We'll get his feeling on Ohio State and Oregon coming up on Saturday night. NFL Week 5 is in the books. You still have 2 unbeatens, only 2, one in the NFC, one in the AFC. The Chiefs going for the three-peat, and the very unlikely Minnesota Vikings. Nobody saw that coming, 5-0. And it's not a fake 5-0, I will admit it. When you beat the 49ers and you hammer the Texans and you go to Lambeau and win and you take out a desperate Jets team, I'm not telling you it's fake.
Too legit
it's
to quit, baby.
It might have a little MC Hammer time. But we'll wait and see how they handle Detroit. They haven't had a divisional foe outside.
Let's say this, though, because you keep going to that. Even if they do lose to Detroit, what does that change for you after what you just said and the teams that you beat?
It means that the Lions have a leg up on them and they'd be tied with the same record.
Yeah, like for me, it's not going to change the perception of who you guys are. You guys would have to go like a massive lose 4 out of 5 type of run for me to be like, yeah, what we saw was just fake good. Because I love that you brought up a great point, and it's not like you guys have been beating up on bad teams. I mean, this is a team that's been in the Super Bowl the last few years. C.J. Stroud and like that, Jordan Love and the Jets, which everybody loved this all season. Like, you guys it's legit, man. So I don't want to discredit, who you guys can be if you guys lose to a good team.
No, I'm too close to it. That's the problem.
I get it.
And because this is eerily similar to when they were 5-0, guess what? Had a bye, same as this year, and then lost 4 in a row.
Did that team have Justin Jefferson?
No. Last time I checked, they did not have him.
Yeah. Did that team have Kevin O'Connell and Brian Flores with their hands on the steering wheel?
No, but we had Sam Bradford and Stephon Diggs. Like, it wasn't a... Like, you could almost make the case that...
So it's a Sam thing. The Sam thing in Minnesota. Just realize that.
That's right. No, that was the Diggs, Thielen, Kyle Rudolph. Like, we had a team.
Nice little squad.
Cordero Patterson was returning kicks. I know you like him. Rhodes Close, Xavier, all that, the whole thing.
By the way, that was
a house of cards.
It's one of the best nicknames in sports. Like, as a corner.
Xavier Rhodes.
Your Rhodes Close. Yeah. That, too.
It's pretty good. With a big X sign, yeah.
Somebody in the NFL, in the NBA, is off night. I think it's Dort for the Thunder. Like, you're so good on defense. Like, the dude, like, just off night. You ain't getting any buckets tonight, big dog.
We do a little true or false. You want to revisit our Final Four real fast and see how we believe in our squad or our Final Four, and I'll bring up the Super Bowl odds for our teams.
One of my picks is just an absolute shambles because it's the New York Jets. The other 3, Kansas City, Jets, Lions, Falcons, were my Final 4.
Okay.
I'm not mad at the other 3. Atlanta's starting to figure it out. Kirk just broke a Falcons record throwing for 500 yards in a game. Kansas City's undefeated, and Detroit's 4-1 or 3-1, whatever they are. So, yeah, I'm good right now. Outside of the Jets. All
right, so your KC, being the FC, they're the favorite to win the Super Bowl right now at 5-1. The Lions are your next best at 11-1. Your Falcons are 25-1
I like
to win it all.
Right now.
and the Jets are 28-1.
Yeah, you know me. I don't like to go chalk with some of my picks, so I got a little freaky this year and threw the Jets and the Falcons in there. And so, I
don't think it was – the Jets certainly had all the preseason hype. All the expectations were on them that they had what it took. Aaron Rodgers, the defense for sure.
I think there was a lot of questions about that.
Division was gettable. I think their defense was what won a lot of people over, and then having Rodgers finally healthy. Yeah, the question mark about you hadn't seen Rodgers yet. You really didn't know what he had left. I have KC in the AFC at 5-1. I have Houston playing them. They're 11-1. I also had the Lions making the NFC title, and I had a team that I'm a little worried about right now in San Francisco. That's 7.5 to 1.
Choppy waters around their ship right now, but they've got the core of that locker room that knows what it takes to get there. So, would not be surprised if they can get through a little bit. The Cardinals' loss this past weekend was rough. At the crib too. It's a bad loss, divisional loss.
By the way,
those happen.
How that game was where in?
That was in the Bay.
In the Bay.
Yeah.
What was was it really, really hot? I had read it was unbelievably hot for that game. I don't know. I'd have to not that Arizona, I don't know. For some reason I had read that, but maybe I'm wrong. All right, CB, let's play a little true or false. Under a slate gray sky, ragtag group of renegades. Who you got?
Real quick before you go, CB, just because it popped up on the TV and I thought about this last night. Outside of the Bengals all whites, the Saints unis last night with that black helmet and that gold.
Those helmets.
That's the second best alternate in the league. Yeah, the Saints looked good last night.
It's honestly one of the best unis out there with that helmet.
Sorry, I just wanted to throw that out there because it came up
I
again.
agree. The second I saw it, I loved it too.
Oh, that helmet and uniform combination for me is behind the Bengals all white. They had the drip on last night. Go ahead, CB. Sorry.
All right, number 1, Bill Belichick will be the next Jets head coach.
You know what's interesting about this, AR? Is that I think he would find their defense very attractive. Him being a defensive guy. What's the personalities like between he and Aaron Rodgers? That ain't working. Or is Rodgers even going to be in this equation next year? I don't know.
You talking about him taking over now? Like he'd be the next?
No, at some point, whenever they hire a head coach.
No, Bill's hanging out with his 23-year-old girlfriend. He's good right now.
I think she's 24 now.
Shortchanged her a little bit? Okay, sorry. My bad.
Summers with Bill on Martha's Vineyard.
Whew. I'm going to go. Oh, man. Because we talked a lot about the Cowboys. Philadelphia, maybe.
True or false? Bill has a better chance of coaching the Jets or staying with this girl for another year.
Better chance of coaching the Jets or staying with her. So this is like this or that.
Then staying with her.
True.
Better chance of coaching. Yes, I think so too. Sure. Here's the deal. If he did it, it's going to be a short-term deal for sure, especially with Rodgers. You mentioned it. Nearing the end of his career, you can't just jump in there and think that you've got a quarterback. So the Belichick-Rodgers partnership is one that they could capitalize on right now. And he could really buy low on the Jets because their expectations are so low now that if he jumped in there and they didn't really take off, I don't think anyone would blame him. I think it would be very, very difficult for in-season, for a guy like him to want it in-season. In-season's for interim, that's for promoting up. Bill Belichick, a legendary coach, is probably not going to jump out of the Manning cast right into that little mess right now and say, yeah, I got it all under control, we can turn it around. But if anyone could make them contenders with that defense, it would be him. But he asked us true or false. He is going to be. I'm going to play the odds and say yes. That
get some revenge on Robert Kraft. And would he do it to the Patriots?
Yeah, that's the other part of it. All right, I'm changing my answer. Although not that he would truly care about. See, to me, honestly, the reason why it's hard for me to answer it true, I'll come back to the very beginning, the quarterback stuff. He's got to know he has a future quarterback.
Yeah.
This would be his last run, and to jump in there not knowing how long Aaron would have left, could he stay healthy? I'm going to change my answer false. He will not be the next Jets head coach.
Yeah, I'll roll with you because I think if he has to pick between Dallas and, let's say, the Jets because of what you said, I think he'd go to Dallas.
close.
All right, number 2, Travis Kelce's now up to tight end number 8 in fantasy after 2 great weeks now with Rashee Rice out of the lineup. My question to you is true or false? Travis Kelce will now finish as the tight end 1 in fantasy.
I'm going true. I mean, it just you saw it last night unfolding, just revealing itself right before our eyes that the battery of Kelce and Mahomes is just one of the best we've seen. And now Kelce knows I got to step up. It's time for me to step up. He's going to get just absolutely peppered with targets week in and week out. Yeah, he's going to climb his way to the tight end 1 spot this year.
What did you say about Kittle, CB? Did you mention him?
No, I did not.
Oh. I think it's... Listen, I think once Devontae Adams leaves the Raiders, I think my guy Brock Bowers has a chance to just keep feasting. Although you could also make the case with Devontae gone, maybe all we have to do is worry about him, and they could take him out. There's nobody else there, Matty. Likely Goddard, Kittle for sure.
Laporta's been just this year, right?
Pitts.
Yeah.
I think this would be the time to err on the Chiefs ramping him up and giving him a ton of volume.
Yeah.
The difference is, can he get in the end zone? Because they haven't been doing much with him near the goal line. He did do the Wildcat last night, handed it off. That's the way you get the fantasy title, if he could turn these catches into touchdowns.
I mean, the last 2 weeks, it's 9 targets and 10 targets. It was 10 targets last night.
Yeah. All right. I'll co-sign that with you. Feels like it'll happen.
All right, last one. Doug Peterson would be too easy for the next head coach to be fired. So we will do Nick Sirianni. True or false? Nick Sirianni will be the next NFL head coach to be fired.
Our options are still Doug Peterson. I mean, 1 week can't make him all of a sudden safe, right? So I'm going to say no, he won't. Because I'll go with Peterson. I would go... I don't know. I mean, if the Bengals completely go south, I mean, it's not
so
like,
the order of odds right now is currently Peterson, then it's Sirianni, then it's, I believe, Stefanski, and then Zach Taylor?
I don't think either Ohio coach is getting fired. I don't. Boy. A lot of noise around Sirianni this offseason. Just a lot. He made a coordinator change in Kellen Moore this offseason. I'm going to go with false because I think it will be Doug Peterson.
I do too.
Yeah, I'm going to go with false.
And if you bet Saleh before this week, you cashed at 25-1.
Wow.
Yeah. We'll tell the truth for you.
CB, you guys could speed this up.
Or a little true and false, sorry.
You could speed this up for Philly. Hand him an L this week.
I think the only L that's being taken is whatever Watson's current standing is in the starting lineup. I think this is the week they finally, it gets really bad and then he sits the bench.
Really? So you think, okay, with another bad performance, the change is coming next week?
It has to. I mean, how much longer can you go? It already sounds like Jack Conklin, who, again, is cashing checks on PTO right now, put his house up for sale.
Really?
Nice. Whew. I don't know how long you can keep holding off the narrative of he's our guy.
When your bosses tell you to.
At 1-5?
When your bosses cut the checks.
Well, that's why I said get him in front of a microphone.
Well, you know that ain't happening.
Well, he loves to talk.
When things are good.
Maybe he could send his wife out there. She's got the partnership of this, right?
I would be very surprised if they held a presser to talk about just Deshaun Watson. I'd be very surprised.
I know, but I'm just saying that it would be great if someone could get him on the record of saying, hey,
I agree.
There's a feeling out there that you're telling your organization since you paid this guy $230 million that he's got to play and then defend it.
He's too busy leading that organization that's trying to break away from the FBS in college football. So he's completely off or hands off on this.
I don't think it's coming until after the bye. I may be that may be crazy, but I think after week 10 is when it would happen.
So 1-8.
Yeah. They need to just be like, hey, we're finished.
Yeah. Maybe he's waiting for Deshaun to be able to outduel Joe Burrow, and then everyone will be back on the bus.
Just take out Joe and Lamar back-to-back weeks at the crib?
Maybe he's waiting for that special
there you go,
moment.
CB.
All right, we come back with pre-snapper. Speaking of quarterbacks, Mike Tomlin on the record today about Russ and his health. And could he be making a change? Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
An ex-jock and a very puffy, smooth-faced man. These are the first voices you should hear. Morning Juice. Your wake-up service.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 9.
The Fan.
Hey, it's Anthony Rothman for my friends at the Bath Authority. Don't wait until your family and friends arrive or the busy holiday season overwhelms you. Now is the time to elevate your bathroom to a whole new level of luxury, style, and safety. At the Bath Authority, you'll get free installation on your new bath or shower and enjoy 36 months of 0% interest financing. That's right, free installation and no interest for 3 years. Visit thebathauthority.com to grab their awesome deal. The Bath Authority, a better bath awaits.
Columbus, the wait is over. Blue Jackets hockey is back. Come feel the boom all season long. Be here Tuesday, October 15th for the home opener, presented by Nationwide. Get your tickets today at bluejackets.com.
Create a safe sleep environment for your baby by using the ABCs of safe sleep. Babies are safest alone on their backs in an empty crib. Always place your baby on his or her back while sleeping, and be sure to use a firm sleep surface. Remember, room sharing without bed sharing is safest. For more information, visit childrenandyouth.ohio.gov/infant safe sleep.
APCO, Windows, Siding, and Decks. Business First says we're the largest remodeler in town. Our philosophy is simple. We don't rely on sales gimmicks to get our customers. We rely on our reputation.
Absolutely, absolutely. You can trust APCO.
APCO.com.
Hi, I'm Joanna Williams, General Manager at Tansky Sawmill Toyota. Is it time for a new or used car? Visit Tansky Sawmill Toyota on the corner of Sawmill and 161, home of the Tansky Promise, where our salespeople aren't paid on commission. We have a 72-hour exchange policy, and every transaction is upfront and transparent. You can even start the process at home. Visit TanskySawmillToyota.com to start your purchase today and to see all of this month's specials. And when you think Toyota, think Tansky.
Friday night in the Buckeye State means only one thing. High school football, baby. Join Ryan Baker and Coach Lee Cochran for Byers Dublin Subaru High School Overtime.
Friday night at 9:30.
Your home of all things football. The Fan.
Hey folks, it's Austin Ward. Thanksgiving's coming up fast. So while you're counting your blessings, why not add a thankful 30 to the list? With Awaken 180 weight loss, you could drop 30 pounds by Thanksgiving, or even 40 if you get the same results I did. I dropped my first 30 pounds in just over a month, and let me tell you, it's a game changer. Imagine this. While everyone else is debating the play calling in the big games, you're sitting at the dinner table feeling lighter, more energetic, and thankful for the 30 pounds no longer holding you back. If I can drop 55 pounds with Awaken 180, I know you can hit the thankful 30 by Turkey Day. It's simple. It's laid out for you. And as you all know by now, it doesn't include a lifetime of medications. That's why I chose Awaken 180. Be thankful this year by dropping your 30 or more pounds. Head to awaken180weightloss.com and reserve your consultation today. It's fast, proven, and as you all know, the weight will stay off thanks to free support for life. Awaken180weightloss.com.
Listen to Sherrod Brown. When he wanted your vote,
on major issues, I'll stand up to the president of my own party.
But Sherrod Brown doesn't stand up to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. He votes with them 97% of the time. Brown supported Biden and Harris on radical issues like amnesty for 11 million illegal immigrants. Brown voted to give nearly $1 billion in COVID stimulus checks to convicted criminals in prison, even the Boston Marathon bomber. And Brown voted to give taxpayer-funded health care to illegals who get amnesty, and Social Security benefits too. So the next time Sherrod Brown tells you,
I'll stand up to the president of my own party,
ignore it. Because 31 years in Washington has changed Sherrod Brown. He's not for us anymore, and he's way too liberal for Ohio. American Crossroads paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising, not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.americancrossroads.org.
Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
Another beautiful day out there today, and in fact, sunny skies will be the common denominator this week. 70 for the high today under sunny skies, 43 tonight. So sweaters and jackets definitely needed. Same old tomorrow, 70 with bright blue skies, and on Thursday, it'll be a little bit cooler with a high of 69. I'm meteorologist Dylan Robichaud with your 10 TV Weather Impact forecast. on 97.1 The Fan.
Bet365 is the exclusive online sportsbook of Rothman and Ice. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365.
Rothman and Ice present Pre-Snap Reads.
Sponsored by the Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
All right, Ice, a little Bet365 time.
Yeah, before we break it all down, just want to, send CB our condolences after yesterday and the heartbreak. Gary Carpenter hitting that dinger over Classic. Wow, that was wild stuff there. Speaking of the Guardians, I want to let you know that Bet365 is the Cleveland Guardians' exclusive mobile sports betting partner, because at Bet365, we don't do ordinary. See for yourself when you sign up today and get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. I'm going to do baseball. I think you got something else cooked up tonight. Hey, these DS series around baseball have been fun. All of them are 1-1 right now. Both teams have won in each series, so we're off to a good start. Phillies going into Gotham City to take on the Mets. I'm looking at my former Cincinnati Red and Nick Castellanos. He's touching all the pillows, plus 475. Touching all the pillows against Manaea. Give me a Nick Castellanos anytime dinger.
Puck drops in North America tonight. NHL season. I know it already started in Prague, but here we are in North America. Blackhawks at the brand new Utah Hockey Club.
By the way, their logo is garbage. That's what they cooked up for this?
Maybe it's a work in progress.
That is a joke, AR. I'm sorry.
Looks like a little coaster you'd put a beer on. Maybe that's
exactly.
Maybe that's what they're going for.
Oh man, that's sad.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what's happening there.
It's just mid. That's all it is.
I think they just didn't want to go all in. Although, wait a minute. Have they done is the Yeti their logo, CB? Have you seen it? I don't know. Maybe it was just a concept.
It's just Utah Hockey Club.
Okay, just Utah. Okay. I thought maybe they were putting some sort of a...
The NHL's got the best logos in all of sports, and this is what you come to the table with?
We're going to have to do a little research on this.
Do better, Utah.
Find out what
Sorry, I got you all off track. That's a mess, though. What you got? What are you looking at tonight?
Connor Bedard, anytime goal, plus 175. And the other thing I think that would be fun to do, if you do want to bet Ohio State, is that on Bet365 right now, they're offering a boost on the Buckeyes' future. So instead of 3.5 to 1 to win it all, they're giving you 4 to 1. So they're boosting it up to 4 to 1 to win it all. So if you're not in and you want to get in, this would be the time to do it, probably.
Okay. Whatever the sport, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Bet365 is the official sports betting partner of the Cleveland Guardians. Download the Bet365 app today, 21 plus only. Must be present in Ohio. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And may the odds be ever in your favor.
All right, Mike Tomlin. Russell Wilson came back to practice. He's a full participant.
Mr. Unlimited.
And he's been dealing with this calf for a while. But Mike says until Russ gets to a point where we are comfortable with what we're looking at, we're going to continue to push forward with Justin until those things are legitimate, and then we'll make those decisions. Okay. Listen, he should make sure. Yeah. If Russ is back to good health, you can't just throw him in there. There's no reason to throw him in there. It wouldn't make any sense. How much they stick with Justin, we'll see. Boy, they run him a lot. They're not care about protecting him.
Because they don't have weapons.
But they got a running back that they can hand it to.
Yeah, but I mean, outside of that, it gets pretty bleak, outside of Pickens. It's just like, Freiermuth every once in a while. Calvin Austin's been, has had one decent game. It's one of their best plays to go to, is that. I don't blame him.
Now, I don't know how serious Derek Carr's injury is from last night. He left, by the way, under 31.5 attempts. By the way, it took an injury to do it.
He looked kind of blah.
Yeah, he looked very average last night. They couldn't get the ball to Olave. They couldn't do much of anything. Kamara was okay. They couldn't line it up and run it.
And Carr's just missing throws, and that interception was just horrendous for a veteran quarterback.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe he got Mahomes in his mind. I don't know.
Well, he just started off so hot, and now people are like, well, the real Derek Carr's finally standing up. It's unfortunate.
Well, and maybe he needs a dome to be good. I don't know. But my point was that, Devontae Adams said, I only want to go to play in New York or New Orleans because I know both those quarterbacks. If Derek Carr now is out for a couple of weeks or whatever, you got to take the Saints off the table.
They ain't marching in?
I wouldn't for Devontae. I don't think so. And the team that might be able to go in there and get involved in this would be Pittsburgh, the team we just talked about.
Black and yellow, black and
But
yellow.
I don't know. There's no quarterback situation there for him, so he wouldn't want to do that. But I come back to it's really not about what he wants. But he could always say to Pittsburgh, no.
Good, bro.
I'm good. Don't
good.
Pony up for me. You're not. I'm going to pull a Conklin. I'm not going to.
That's a nightmare for GM Rothman.
It really is. What, trading for a guy who may not want to play for us?
I ain't playing for you. I'm sorry. And especially when they're serious, like a guy like Hassan Reddick. I mean, Hassan Reddick.
You don't need to get him. Your team, Hotlanta.
Well, they got Judon. You just keep adding to it.
They cannot get after the quarterback. Aren't they
keep
one of the
adding.
worst teams at rushing the passer?
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I wouldn't be mad at that duo.
Boy, that would be great because they blew the chance to help their defense in the draft, and they went after Penix.
Well, we're saying that now. Yeah. If they layer that thing nicely, then if Penix is a dude, you're right. If Penix is a dude, then it turns out to be awesome. But as far as right now talent, for sure, they could have. That's such an interesting decision, what they did, and will be. But they will always have the trump card if Michael Penix turns out to be their franchise quarterback.
Speaking of last night's game, CB, you got this Patrick Mahomes. He wants to give all the praise to the defense.
We've won different ways. I mean, at the end of the day, our defense is playing their tail off, and I think people are starting to come to realize that even more. And so even when we're getting these field goals, they're keeping us in these games. And so obviously offensively, we had a better day today, a lot of yards. Now it's about finding ways to finish with touchdowns in the red zone so we can make these leads bigger, faster, then we can really let Spags be Spags. And I think if we can do that, we'll continue to get better and better as the year goes on.
Does he have the most recognizable voice in all of sports?
I would probably put Shaq and Barkley ahead of him, but he's up there. He is absolutely up there.
The good thing is for him, he doesn't really talk that much unless it's a media thing. Like you don't hear him all that much. You're right. Comparing him to announcers is almost unfair just because they're front and center. I'm wondering if you
What
went
about like Chuck Amato, the old NC State coach?
I'd have to hear it, and I don't think he's a famous enough name for people to say, yep, that's him. I think Jim Nance, any announcer you'd put up, the old John Madden, Dick Vitale, any of those voices.
Yeah.
But as far as
Kermit the Frog, a.k.a. Mahomes?
I don't know any other player that I would put up against that.
I think after this offseason, I'd recognize Xavier Legette with that heavy accent that he had. The rookie receiver for the Panthers.
Yeah.
I'll never forget that at all.
All right, that's your pre-snap read for today.
The Columbus Men's Clinic is the largest and most experienced men's health practice in Columbus. Did you know that their patients average 3 failures with other places before coming to the Columbus Men's Clinic? A lot of guys I know tried other things or maybe went to the clinic years ago, but they have an actual doctor treating patients, not some fly-by-night franchise that loves to come into town. Seriously, go see the team that for 10 years has been #1 in Ohio for men's health. Stop thinking about it and get in there. Call 614-300-7400. That's 614-300-7400. Or go online to columbusmensclinic.com to book an appointment today. columbusmensclinic.com.
All right, we come back with Austin Ward, Buckeye beat reporter, and we'll ask him if he didn't know who they were playing this week, would it feel the same over there? We'll get that opinion next. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
Unlike your deadbeat uncle, we'll never leave you stranded in a ditch when you were 6. This promo may have been a touch too specific. The Fan.
First down!
Oh, what? Just cleared that drain last week.
Well, clearly, that didn't work. Would you please just call the waterworks?
At the Waterworks, we mean clean. We'll get your drains good as new on the first down. And as for him, well, there's always the Buckeyes. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results.
Question for you. Would you rather pay $150 a month or $15 a month to work out with the same high-quality gym equipment? At Planet Fitness, you can get top-tier equipment for $15 a month. Plus, save $28 or more when you join now during our Strong Choice sale. Our weights weigh the same, you just don't pay the same. Enjoy free fitness training and 24-hour access at most clubs, all in the judgment-free zone. Join Planet Fitness today and save $28 or more when you join for $1 down, $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends October 10th. See club for details.
Hey, what's up? It's T-Bone. Guys, listen up. How many of you out there have been diagnosed with sleep apnea? Maybe your partner can't tolerate your snoring every single night. You can't stand your CPAP machine. I get it. But there are alternatives to the CPAP machine, and Dr. Mark Levy is here to change your sleep and your life. Trust me, your spouse will thank you later. Dr. Mark Levy can customize an oral appliance that opens your airways, helps you breathe better, and stops your snoring. What a concept. It's quick, comfortable, and an alternative to those bulky, loud CPAP machines you always hear about. For over 15 years, Dr. Mark Levy has led the way when it comes to treating snoring and sleep apnea, and he has a track record to prove it. If you're snoring and not sleeping, you need to call Dr. Mark Levy's office today. And as the end of the year approaches, a lot of people have exceeded their medical deductibles, which means less out of pocket for you. Don't delay. Schedule your appointment today with Dr. Mark Levy at 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. That's 1-800-MORE-SLEEP. Or you can visit him online at sleepbettercolumbus.com. 1-800-MORE-SLEEP or sleepbettercolumbus.com.
We have a lot of football happening. I'm here to help. Set your radio preset to the Fan. Very good. Now set the second one to ESPN Columbus. It's the HD2 button. Lastly, go to the Fan's HD3 and save the Fan 3. Crisis averted. You're welcome. Columbus, the wait is over. Blue Jackets hockey is back. Come feel the boom all season long. Be here Tuesday, October 15th for the home opener, presented by Nationwide. Get your tickets today at BlueJackets.com.
Create a safe sleep environment for your baby by using the ABCs of safe sleep. Babies are safest alone on their backs in an empty crib. Always place your baby on his or her back while sleeping, and be sure to use a firm sleep surface. Remember, room sharing without bed sharing is safest. For more information, visit childrenandyouth.ohio.gov/infant safe sleep.
Get your game room game day ready with Billiards Plus. Pool tables, shuffleboard tables, and games the whole family will enjoy. Now's the time to get your name on a pool table before the holiday rush. Plus, top-of-the-line grills still in stock. Shop Billiards Plus on Dublin Center Drive in Dublin.
Tire Discounters announces our latest breakthrough, TD Chat BS. This software allows us to detect untruths, deceptions, and even outright lies. Let's listen in as we call a local car dealer.
Hi, I drive your model of auto or truck. I need servicing.
Oh, that's great. You should always call the dealer for service to make sure your warranty stays intact.
Untruth.
Excuse me?
I can attend at Tire Discounters for all services, even for all manufacturers' scheduled maintenance. Warranty not affected.
But it's only us dealers who really know our own models.
Deception. Tire Discounters technicians are certified experts for all makes and models.
Okay, maybe.
How many dollars do you charge me for? As few as Tire Discounters?
We are not that much more.
Outright lie. Ending call now. Bye. Adios. Aloha. Hasta la pasta.
Right now, save up to $250 on Cooper tires, and shocks and struts are buy 3, get 1 free.
Trust and Will knows that we'll all eventually need a will. How about right now? Trust and Will makes creating your will easy, like while you're lounging on the couch easy. Trust and Will is designed by attorneys but customized by you, and all documents are state-specific and secure. Find your plan at trustandwill.com and use offer code Columbus now for 10% off. That's trustandwill.com, offer code Columbus. Trust and Will is an online service providing legal forms and information. It is not a law firm and is not a substitute for the advice of an attorney.
Rothman and Ice is sponsored by your local Pella Window and Door showroom on Gemini Parkway. The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
Let's do a little day tripping.
Sponsored by Atlas Butler Plumbing. Call us today at 1-800-FURNACE for all your plumbing and drain service needs. Yes, 1-800-FURNACE works for plumbing, too.
Our little day tripping with our guy, Austin Ward, Dot in the ISD podcast, and, of course, here on The Fan. And he's on the Bryant Heating Cooling Systems Fan Guest Hotline. How we doing, my man?
Awesome. How are you guys?
Pretty psyched up for this one, only being Tuesday. So I said before the break, because you're in there, man. You're in the epicenter of this thing. You talk to the guys, you get a feel. If you didn't know who they were playing this week, would it look and sound and feel the same over there, or do you think it has a different edge to it?
No, I think it's different this week, Anthony. They make a point every week of saying it's always about Ohio State. It's about us. It's about treating every game the same. But when Ryan Day gives more monotone answers, and it's not like he didn't give expansive details. He did. But there wasn't a lot of excitement that he was giving away publicly during a Tuesday. You can tell that there's a bigger game from that. And this week, in the Woody Hayes Athletic Center, out there on their video board, they had the beat and the Oregon logo up in there. That's the first time, at least for a Tuesday afternoon, that has been the case this season. It has just been, for every other game, the Block O, and it reminds you, hey, it is about Ohio State, and if they handle their business, they're going to win these games. But like with these talent-equated games that they call them, the matchup games, even just changing a picture that's on a video board, it all seems to hit a little bit different, that the Buckeyes know this is a real one, and they need to act accordingly.
Austin, when you look at these two squads going head-to-head on Sunday night, but I guess more importantly, what Ohio State has done so far and a little bit of what you know about Oregon, when it comes to the Buckeyes, which position group do you think is the most important on Saturday night?
Yeah, I think, when you look at where Oregon has had some deficiencies early in the year, it has been with their offensive line. And so that puts, I think, the onus on Ohio State's defensive line to continue to keep ratcheting up. They've ramped up and brought more pressure. They've been getting home consistently. And then it's not, as Ohio State makes this point all the time, Larry Johnson talks about, it doesn't mean that it has to be sacks, but they need to be able to win their matchups. And I think a healthy version of Tyler Williams, the one that we saw just wrecking Iowa on Saturday night, certainly tells you that that elevation can happen in a game like this. And, you always are going to default to, hey, 8 points to the trenches. And so I don't think that it's just the front four for Ohio State. I'm going to loop the linebackers in there as well. They played incredibly well against Iowa to help shut down a very potent rushing attack. But there have been times that it's been a little shaky in the transition for Sonny Styles, who was the defensive player of the game on Saturday against Iowa, played very well. But what Dylan Gabriel can do, what they can, the misdirection, the rolling out, using the tight end, that's going to put the linebackers in some conflict at times. So I'm cheating a little bit, Maddie, but I think if you look at Ohio State's defensive front, like if they control the game the way they did against Iowa, it's hard for me to imagine Oregon, having much success on Saturday night.
I think the big narrative this week certainly will become, and probably rightfully so, is Will Howard in a big game, a game that he may have to go toe-to-toe with Dylan Gabriel, a game where he might face a lot more pressure than he has faced to this point, you would think. Now, maybe the running game takes the heat off of him, but where are you right now on your curiosity or your confidence / concern with Will Howard on Saturday night?
Yeah, I would definitely consider myself more in the confident bucket with Will Howard at this point. He's had, throws, one or two plays, over the last couple of weeks where they weren't perfect. He got under pressure, and when he threw the interception on Saturday against Iowa, you go back all the way to the opener. He tried to make something happen that maybe he didn't need to. I think those are lessons for him, maybe more so than red flags. And we'll find out, because going on the road and playing Oregon and everything that comes with this game are going to be revealing in a lot of different ways. But I think when there have been opportunities, and there haven't been a lot, because Ohio State's offensive line is giving really good protection in addition to being very good for the run blocking, Will Howard is making fast decisions, correct decisions way more often than he's not. And I think the RPO game especially is revealing how much faith Chip Kelly and Ryan Day have in him to open up the playbook and to pick teams apart. His numbers, when we've said, can he throw the deep ball? The way he's delivering with accuracy these short and intermediate throws is decreasing the necessity of that to actually be a part of Ohio State's offense. And maybe there'll be situations where he has to do that. He did come out in the third quarter and hit that deep strike to Jeremiah Smith to get them rolling. But some of the throws and the accuracy that you've seen from him, some have been with some pressure, some have been against the blitz, picked up, not picked up. but where he's putting the football for, those Emeka Egbuka touchdowns, like not a lot of people in this world can make those throws. I think Will Howard's one of them. And, this will be the next step that he's still got to pass a test against Oregon. But I would be surprised if he struggles in that environment, honestly.
Austin, one of the talking points that's been out there about this year's Ohio State team, specifically the offense, was, okay, maybe they're saving some things, right, for this window of time, Iowa, Oregon, in the coming games. And, I brought it up earlier. I said, what if we could say the same thing about the defense and Jim Knowles this week, right? Yeah. Because this is obviously a veteran defensive coordinator, as you know, with veteran players. What are your thoughts on that maybe this defense this week could throw out some things that we haven't seen yet?
Yeah, no, I think you're hitting the nail on the head there, Maddie. I mean, even last week, I think you could see some of that. Michigan State, a few different blitzes and different looks as this season has gone on. Jim Knowles referenced this with that early off date, that for him it was looking ahead and thinking about where teams might decide that they can try to attack Ohio State, and then finding adjustments and counters and different things that the Buckeyes can do to be surprising as they move along. And it is truly one of the benefits of not just being in year 3 for Jim Knowles, but also having so many players who've been in all 3 of those seasons with him. They can get to a lot more things in the playbook, both offensively and defensively, than maybe we've seen. And that's a good place to be in for a big game like this, that Ohio State hasn't had to show off a great deal of exotic blitzes or different coverages. They've been able to largely get by, I think, on both sides of the ball with pretty straightforward attacks. And that's probably got to make Oregon a little bit nervous as they get ready for what's coming in to visit them on Saturday night.
Well done. Always great to have you on, bud. Have a great week, safe travel, and all that good stuff. Enjoy it.
All right. Appreciate you guys. See you.
Thanks. That is our friend Austin Ward, dotting the I's, and the podcast on the Bryan Heating and Cooling Systems fan guest hotline. All right, guys, talking to you. If you're feeling a little bit loss of energy, you don't have that drive, it could be low testosterone, just don't wait any longer. Get your level checked and do it by the experts at Low T Center. They have over a decade of experience helping patients with testosterone therapy, or TRT. And once you get established, they will offer the convenience of physician-monitored at-home TRT. Advanced treatment includes lab testing and medication, and they'll optimize a personal treatment plan for you if you need it, not just a standard plan. Here's the dosage, take this and get on your way. It's not like that. They are one of the great providers to help you get back to feeling your best. It can affect your mood, so just be honest with yourself and just say, you know what? I have a loss of energy. I'm not as upbeat as I used to be. Find out. See where you land on the scale and let them guide you along the way. So go to lowtcenter.com. Book that appointment online, lowtcenter.com. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare. We come back with Tell the Truth to wrap it up. Rothman and Ice and the Fan.
If you haven't thought about Buckeye football today, I'm sorry to tell you that you're dead. Our condolences. Your home of the Buckeyes, the Fan.
If you're struggling with ED or your performance is down and your belly fat is growing, listen up. You've got one life. Now is the time to act.
At the Columbus Men's Clinic, we're not just healthcare, we're your secret weapon. Don't wait another day. Here's why you need to act right now.
Every moment you delay, your condition could worsen. It's not just about sex, it's about your heart, your relationship, your life.
The Columbus Men's Clinic has over 10 years of proven results for low testosterone and increasing drive, energy level, and performance. We've introduced ED and enhancement treatments so exclusive, you'll wonder why you waited.
Procrastination is the thief of time. When it comes to your sexual health, you can't afford to wait. Join the League of Gentlemen who've walked out of our doors with a swagger.
Call the Columbus Men's Clinic at 614-300-7400 or visit columbusmensclinic.com. Book your $99 male performance consultation now, including blood work. Call 614-300-7400 or visit columbusmensclinic.com. The Columbus Men's Clinic, making it happen.
Common Man here for Care Heating and Cooling. Weather is unpredictable, but the inside of your home should be comfortable just the way you like it. And the best way to avoid those unnecessary surprises is with a care plan. See, with a care plan, you get priority service, system maintenance in case of an emergency. Just another way to give you and your family peace of mind. And maintaining your systems properly can help save you money. A properly maintained furnace and air conditioner run more efficiently, reducing your utility usage. Regular maintenance also prevents breakdowns and extends the life of your equipment. I'm on on the care plan, and I'm quite the expert. I'll stop by and give your system a once-over. I will. Don't tempt me. I end every commercial the same way, telling you to hire care when you need a company you can trust. It's not just the slogan. That's the care creed. How about this? Lennox. They have thousands of dealers nationwide. HVAC royalty. Last year, Lennox gave Care their coveted Partner of the Year award because they're trusted by their customers and their partners. Care Heating and Cooling. Call 1-800-COOLING or book an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com when you need a company you can trust.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Ohio. Terms and conditions apply.
Common Man and T-Bone are known for many things. And while great radio ain't one of them, shoving food down their gullets is their specialty. Join Man and Bone for Fat Boy Food Tip.
Live at 3 or on the podcast.
Your home for fat. The Fan.
Hey, it's Bobby Carpenter. Is your business generating over $1 million a year in revenue? If your financial advisory team isn't keeping pace, maybe it's time for a change. Here's Brad Hennebert with Premier Advisors.
Thanks, Bobby. Our team integrates financial planning and asset management with business accounting and tax preparation. Business owners have planning needs that are unique. We work with you to design a seamless financial services bundle tailored to your business with monthly or quarterly advisory consultations to help guide you along the way. We don't just keep score of what happened last year. Our team combines expert financial planning and wealth management with top-tier tax services, helping businesses like yours build wealth for you. Call us today at 614-524-4888. That's 614-524-4888.
Brad Hennebert is a registered representative offering securities through United Planners Financial Services. Member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through TCP Asset Management LLC. Tax services offered through Premier Tax CPAs. United Planners is not affiliated with TCP Asset Management, Premier Advisors, or Premier Tax CPAs.
We are Ortho Alliance. Together, we deliver the most experienced orthopedic care near you and throughout Central Ohio. Together, we provide expert care when you need it with same-day and next-day appointments. We put our patients' care first, from physical therapy to the most challenging joint replacement surgeries. We are JIS Orthopedics, Ortho Neuro, Orthopedic Associates of Zanesville, Orthopedic Foot and Ankle Center, and Orthopedic Specialists in Sports Medicine. And we are better together. Visit orthoalliance.com or call 877-WE-ARE-OA.
At Metal Supermarkets, we're all about getting you and your crew to quit in time sooner. That's why our service is a cut above. You see, no matter the project, we'll get you to the right metal, shape, and grade. Cut to any size, ready real fast. And yeah, we'll deliver, leaving plenty of time for the important things, like opening an ice-cold can of aluminum. Metal Supermarkets, the convenience store for metal.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Accurate Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Tell the truth with Rothman and Ice.
Sponsored by Twin Peaks, home of the 29-degree draft beer.
All right, CB, take us home.
All right, with a big college football weekend coming up, we obviously know the first game that everyone really cares about around here is the Ohio State-Oregon game, but tell the truth, what is the second game you're most looking forward to this weekend?
I mean, the obvious one, I'm not going to choose. I think the obvious one would be Texas at Oklahoma.
Can you say Red River rivalry 3 times in a row?
Try to do that.
Can you do it?
No.
I
mean, I probably could, but I
can't. Red River rivalry. Red River rivalry. Red River rivalry.
Red rum. Red
there you
rum.
Take it. There's nothing with low-hanging fruit. Sometimes it tastes just as good.
What about the dried up fruit that's already dropped to the ground, like Penn State at USC? There's something in me that wants to see whether Penn State is the 4th best team in this country.
Okay.
And if they go to USC, not that will prove anything, but I want to see USC already beat LSU. They should have beaten Michigan. Mm-hmm. They're coming home. I think this is almost, would you say this is a must-win for USC?
Feels like it.
Like at 3-2 already? You can't go to 3 losses.
Yeah,
they're not going to win a lot of tiebreakers. But yes, they'll get Notre Dame at the end of the year, and if they win that game, maybe if they have 3 losses and 2 of their wins are over LSU and Notre Dame, they could get in as a 12.
Yeah.
They might. You can't. I just think this is so big for them. You're onto
because
something. Rarely are you going to see Penn State with a 4 in front of their name.
Mm-hmm.
And so now USC has that opportunity. I'm actually very curious to see this game.
I like that. I think I'm going to go off the grid here, and I think I'm going to do some scouting for CB because I think he wants this guy at quarterback next year in Cleveland. 10-15, Kansas State is going into Colorado. And both these teams are 4-1 right now. Kansas State's looked okay, just based off of where their standards were coming into the year. Yes, the record is good, but they haven't really looked the part. Colorado picked up a nice win on the road at UCF where they were like 14-point dogs, I believe, going into that one. You pick this one up. If you're Colorado, you'll find yourself inside the top 25 next week. So, low nightcap with Colorado, Shedeur, and Travis Hunter, maybe the Heisman Trophy winner. So, we'll both go off the grid just a little bit outside of the Red River rivalry in Ohio State and Oregon. And I'll go Kansas State at Colorado at 10-15 on ESPN.
Just remember, it's not a lie if you believe it.
By the way, that's how they should take what you just did and use that now. We should send that off to national.
Yeah.
You could pitch that game and then just have your voice spliced in at the end.
ESPN.
Yeah, that would be something.
They got to cut me a check, though.
Well, let's just give it a trial run and see what kind of feedback we get on it. And then
that's right, CB. Yeah. Cut your boy a check.
All right, next up, which side of the football gives you the most confidence entering this Oregon game? Is it Ohio State's offense or their defense?
This is a good question because they're both just really good. But what gives me more confidence right now? I'm gonna go with the offense. I'm gonna go with the offense. I just think no matter what situation they're gonna be put in this year, they can find a way to light up the scoreboard and keep the chains moving. And they're tied for first in red zone efficiency this year. No field goals at all. Give me the offense. I'm sorry, they do have one.
I'm going to lean on the defense a little bit.
Okay.
It's a harder answer because of what the offense I know they're going to be facing. Because it's easy for me to say, oh, this team's given up, 34 points in 5 games? Like, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
But the offensive struggles in the first half a little bit here, and they got going only because of their defense against Iowa. The defense started rattling the quarterback. They gave him short fields. You're right. It's a fun question, and you'd probably be equally okay with both. But I'm going to lean on this defense and what they've shown me so far this year that they're ready for this.
And that, my boy, is a damn truth.
All right, I want to change the fan poll a little bit just to make it interesting because I think you both would probably agree with the idea that
I love that the way you just said that. I'm going to change the fan poll just to make it interesting.
Somebody got bodied.
That's awesome.
Well, I'm
Period.
Just saying,
end of story.
Who'd you just body?
That's pretty awesome. That was pretty awesome.
We have discussed on this show for the past 3 hours that you both believe that Deshaun Watson should be benched.
Yeah.
I don't think there's really anyone disagreeing with that. And if I looked up the percentages on this poll, I'm sure it's probably close to 95% saying yes. Yeah. But let's make it real interesting. In terms of the Browns and the quarterback position, should they make a change at the quarterback if their goal is to tank at some point? Because I do know that Jimmy Haslam does love a good 0-16, 0-17 type of run.
I guess the question is, do they need to change at quarterback?
Do you think they would need to if they want to do that?
Based off of what I've seen, I got to go with no. Like, the trajectory of this team is, I saw our guy, Ari Mayroff. He's from the 33rd team, I believe. He tweeted out the very early draft order for next year. The Browns are in the top 5 already.
I think the Bengals were like 3rd.
Which would be interesting. But, yeah, I don't think they even need to do that.
It's a great question. I'm glad you changed it. Because if you're a Browns fan right now and you're all in the camp of, I want to have the top pick next year, I honestly think you'd stay with Deshaun. Because the mystery of Jameis and that little spark that you every now and then you get when the new guy's there. There's a new sheriff in town. But Maddie's right. It's kind of equal. I don't think you have to worry too much that if you put Jameis Winston in, suddenly you're going to start reeling off wins left and right.
Here's an added question. Do you think fans should want the team to tank for a draft right now, or do you think there's still an actual possibility of wild card chances?
No, I think if I'm a fan, I want the tank to start. Just rip the Band-Aid off. Let's just go all in with being, I was about to use a word I can't use. Let's go all in with being crappy. Let's go with that.
Browns fan will never allow this. They'll never allow themselves. I mean, maybe at 1-5, certainly, maybe they'd finally get the hint. But I don't think that they're involved. I played that game, where are they better than the team above them? I can't do that anymore. Do I think they're better than Tennessee? Maybe. Miami without Tua? Yeah. Vegas they lost to. Jets probably not. No. I think you're right. They should want to. Yeah.
Set you free.
Can't do it yet.
If you miss anything, if you ever miss anything, wherever you get your podcast, type in Rothman and Ice. Everything we do from noon to 3 will be waiting for you. Hey, Common Man has T-Bone back with him today, and apparently T-Bone is mad about the Brownies and has some things to get off his chest.
Mad about having to come back to work. By the way, Hockey and Hounds tomorrow. First one of the year with Z. We'll do that at 1:03, so tune in for the entire show, and you'll get that as well. Rothman and Ice on the Fan.
Big voice guy here to remind you that you're listening to the Fan, Ohio sports destination. Okay, thanks. I have 3 more seconds. Bye-bye. This is a Fan Action Update.
The National League takes center stage today in Major League Baseball playoffs. The Phillies are on the road, but a slight -112 favorite on the money line over the Mets, who are -104. The Padres are -150 favorites in Game 3 today against the Dodgers. And your World Series odds now. Yankees are the favorite at +270. Dodgers +430. Guardians are now 10-1. For your action update, I'm Scotty Vegas.
At APCO Windows, there's no 35% off sales, no buy one, get one free, just our best bottom line price. So get multiple estimates. Just make sure one is from APCO.
Absolutely, absolutely. You can trust APCO.
APCO.com.
Here, care is where you need it. With over 350 primary care providers in Central Ohio, expert care is minutes away. See how we care for all of you at mountcarmelforyou.com.
Protect yourself, Ohio. Get your shots for COVID and flu today. A message from the Ohio Departments of Health and Aging.
Fox Tonight is so good, it's criminal. Starting with a new episode of Fox's must-watch mystery series. I'm gonna kill you! Murder in a Small Town. Then, how does the defendant plead? It's the season premiere of the critically acclaimed drama, Accused.
Do you have any idea what this has cost me?
Featuring extraordinary guest stars every week. Felicity Huffman, William H. Macy, and many more.
Tonight starting at 8 on Fox 28.
With so much happening every day,
ABC6 News is on your side, helping you understand the events that impact your community.
Do you believe Columbus City Schools is in a PR crisis?
Central Ohio's most experienced team of reporters, persistent in getting answers to the questions you're asking.
Are you worried about how people are going to react?
And when you need us, ABC6 News is on your side, finding solutions.
6 on your side, they're the ones willing to answer the phone.
You can count on ABC6 News to be on your side.
At Baths R Us, we're terrible roofers. We stink at installing siding. And don't ever call us for your kitchen remodel. But if you want a stunning, beautiful bathroom makeover in just 2 or 3 days, now that's when you want to call us. See, unlike most contractors these days, we offer only one service, bathroom remodeling. We don't spread ourselves thin by doing roofing or siding and a bunch of other stuff. Nope. At Baths R Us, we dedicate every company resource into mastering the craft of bath transformations. It's why we're the Midwest's biggest 5-star family-owned bathroom company. And it's why we have the happiest customers. Just check out our Google reviews. Baths R Us. We're terrible roofers, but we're awesome bathroom remodelers. Right now, get $1,500 off a shower or tub replacement or $3,000 off a full bathroom remodel. Plus, low to no monthly payments. Call 380-225-BATH to schedule your free estimate or go to bathsrus.com. Baths R Us, where dreams soak in.
If your air conditioning or furnace stops working in the middle of the night, on a weekend, or over a holiday, there's no reason to wait to get it fixed. For 100 years, Atlas Butler has been here for your family. We're always open. We work on all furnace and air conditioner brands, and it's easy and convenient to request service. Call today, get it fixed today. That's our pledge to you.